Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto and Temari being forced into a marriage by the Sand and Leaf Village Councils part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. It was a little over a week since the end of the Fourth Shinobi War, which had lasted several weeks, and things were beginning to return to normal in the Konoha, the village hidden in the leaves. It was very fortunate that while there had been casualties, they were relatively small in comparison to the Third Shinobi War, and this was due almost entirely to the efforts of Naruto Uzumaki. Even though Kabuto had been defeated, Madara Uchiha had once again escaped, though with his massive injuries, thanks to Naruto and Temari's deadly wind combo attacks. Most didn't think he would survive for long, and if he did, he would be powerless. Most of the allied ninja had returned to their respective villages, with the exception of those from Suna, the village hidden in the sand. Gaara, Kankuro and Temari in particular had wanted to stay and visit their friends for a while. It was currently the early hours of morning, around 7 a.m., and Gaara was mediating as usual, anticipating his chance to visit the person he considered not only his first friend, but his best friend as well, Naruto. With all that had happened over the years, there hadn't been much time to spend time with him, like he had wished, what with the Akatsuki, him becoming Kazekage, Naruto training with the late Jiraiya, and of course, the recent war. The fifth Hokage, Tsunade of the Senju, was sitting in her chair, glaring at the mountains of paperwork that sat on her desk, and in more stacks, on the floor. Maybe if I stare at it long enough I can catch it on fire, and I can say it was lost due to reason beyond my control. Like any kind of good luck like that would happen, she thought to herself, sighing. I might as well get started, Tsunade said out loud. The sooner I do, the sooner I can take a sake break, as long as Shizen isn't around to see my access my secret sake stash, that is. She picked up a random paper from a stack in front of her and looked at the date on the top of it. This is from when the freak job Danzo was in charge. During my time in the coma, she thought as she began to read the memo. Let's see, a request for a political marriage between a ninja of the leaf and a ninja of the sand after the leaf village is rebuilt enough from the attack by pain. Certainly a strange request, Tsunade said, looking at it. Wait, it already approved by the council and Danzo, when he was acting Hokage? Who was it for what? Shizen, get in here, now! Not a moment later, Shizen burst in the door, dropping folders all over the place. Lady Tsunade, I'm here, what's wrong? This, read it, Tsunade said, gripping the edge of her desk so hard it was cracking into pieces. Shizen took the now partially wrinkled paper and looked it over, before looking up at Tsunade. Danzo approved this? Why? Shizen asked, wide-eyed. Can you override it? No, I can't, damn it, Tsunade said, breaking off the corner of desk she was still gripping hard. What I want to know now is, why would Gaara approve of this? Maybe he didn't, maybe the Sand Village Council did while he was at the Kage Summit, Shizen said, dropping the paper onto the desk. Which means, he can't change it any more than we can, right? Damn it, I can't believe those stupid, fucking, pig-headed assholes in the council did this kind of crap. Tsunade yelled, slamming her fist into the desk, leaving a large indent in its surface. There's no way out of this, Umbukro. Go tell Naruto I need to see him. I need to explain this bullshit to him. The Umbu nodded before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. You have every right to be mad, but you should try to watch your language, Lady Tsunade, Shizen said, picking up the folders she had dropped a few minutes ago. You need to think about how this is going to affect poor Naruto. That's your top priority. Yes, I know you're right as usual, Tsunade said, taking a deep breath. Bring me some herbal tea, will you? I need to calm down. In fact, while you do that, Umbu Ox, go grab 5 bowls of ramen from Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto going to need to calm when he hears this as well. Something tells me this is going to be a long day for everyone, especially poor Naruto, said the Umbu, before she too disappeared. Speaking of Naruto, he was currently walking up, or rather running up the stairs of the Hokage Tower, to see what Tsunade had wanted him for. Though he was in a more or less good mood now, he wasn't entirely happy with his wake-up message, where he had been woken out of a half-asleep state as he was eating breakfast by an Umbu. He had ending up spilling some of his cereal, which the Umbu had snickered about, until Naruto had grabbed a handful of the wet cereal of the floor and hit the Umbu square in the face with it. The now irritated Umbu then quickly gave Naruto the message about the Hokage wanting to see him ASAP, and just as quickly left, grumbling. Naruto then grabbed his toast and got dressed, eating as he did, before jumping out his window and bounding across the rooftops towards the tower. As usual, when Naruto arrived at the door to Tsunade's office, he didn't bother to knock and simply kicked open the door. Hey, I'm here, Grandma Tsunade, what's up? He said, walking in. It's about time you showed up, brat. Have a seat. I got you some ramen, for a special treat, so be grateful, Tsunade said, sipping her tea. Go ahead, it's not poisoned, it's from that Ichiraku ramen stand you like so damn much. Free ramen? You are my favorite person in the world, Grandma? He said, jumping into the chair, grabbing the first bowl and slurping away. By the way, was this all you wanted? No, but go ahead and eat first. We'll talk about the important thing after you're done, Tsunade said, finishing her tea. Just hurry, it's quite important, you know. It is? Naruto asked, noodles hanging out his mouth. What is it? Maybe I should eat later. You're actually turning down ramen? Are you feeling sick or something? Tsunade asked, in disbelief. Naruto put down his now empty bowl and looked at her. We all know ramen is like the king of all foods in the world, but even I know that there are some things more important than ramen. Tsunade smiled and thought, Naruto, you really are growing up. I'm positive that if Kushina and Minato were still alive, they'd be as proud of you as I am, okay? But I warn you, this is not something I'm happy about, as my now broken desk can contest to, Tsunade said, gesturing to the dents, cracks and the broken corner on her desk. Now, apparently while I was out of commission and that nutbag, Danzo, was in charge, an agreement was made between the Sand and Leaf villages. A marriage agreement, to be exact. A marriage agreement? Who the ones they're forcing to marry, and why would Gaara agree to this kind of thing? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. I don't think he would make this kind of agreement. Well, me and Shizen think it was made by the Suna Council, during the Kage Summit, before Gaara returned to his village. Tsunade replied, resting her chin on her folding hands in front of her. In any case, this agreement was somewhat forgotten due to the recent war, but now that things are winding down, it will have to be implemented. Furthermore, we only know of the groom who has been chosen from our village. We're not sure of who the bride from not the Sand village will be yet. Who's the guy? Naruto asked, suddenly nervous. Anyone I know? Tsunade took a deep breath and closed her eyes before saying, yes, you do. They want the groom from the Leaf village to be an individual who was the hero of both the Pain Incident and the Fourth Shinobi War. They want you, Naruto. She didn't hear a response and opened one eye to look at Naruto, and watched him stand up, with a neutral expression on his face. I'll be back in a second, Grandma. Tsunade watched as Naruto walked over to the window and climbed out, heading up to the roof. It was silent for a minute, then she heard him yell out at the top of his lungs, son of a bitch, what the hell? Shizen came walking into Tsunade's office and saw Tsunade banging her head on the desk. She also heard Naruto shouting out all kinds of nonsense from the roof. I take Naruto knows the bad news, Shizen asked, sadly. Isn't there anything we can do for him? Not in terms of stopping the marriage, however, there are some ways to work this to Naruto's advantage, Tsunade said, picking her head off of her desk. Does matter, I'm not doing it, Grandma, Naruto said, sitting on the windowsill, with his arms crossed. There's no way I'm marrying anyone right now, so there. Naruto, stop acting like a baby. It's not like I want this for you, any more than you do, and if you refuse there could be serious consequences for you and our village, Tsunade said, shaking her. Now, as I just said, I'm not about to let you do this without the two councils agreeing to some things that will help you out, and give you what you deserve. What I deserve? What kind of advantages are we talking about here, Grandma Tsunade? Asked Naruto, standing up with his arms now at his side. Not that I agree to this or anything, but they better be really good. There's no way out of this, Naruto, believe me, I thought of every loophole I think of, and nothing could stop this. Tsunade said solemnly. Now, as for the things I can do for you, first I'll require 2 witnesses. Shizen, go fetch either Sakura or Ino from the clinic for me. Right, Shizen replied, opening the door and walking out. Not a moment had passed, however, when she reappeared in the doorway, with Sakura. Turns out Sakura was on her way to receive her daily routines from you. I met her in the hallway here. Good, saves you a trip and as time. Sakura stepped forward with Shizen and closed the door. While you're at it, Tsunade said, standing up. First, I need to activate a privacy seal. But before I do this, Naruto, I need your permission to reveal your parentage to Sakura, and soon after, everyone else in the village, Tsunade said, looking at Naruto seriously. Can I? Naruto thought for a moment before nodding to her. Yeah, I guess I trust Sakura here 100%. As for the rest of the villagers, it was bound to get out eventually anyway. I guess they'll have to get used to it. She smiled, nodded and activated the seal before reaching into a drawer in her desk and pulling out a folded-up jacket. Here, take this, Naruto, but don't unfold it yet, Tsunade said to him. Now on this day, in the autumn of this year, I, Tsunade of the Senju, and the Sannin, the 5th Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves, hereby promote Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze to the rank of Special Jonin. Congratulations. No one spoke for a moment, and everyone was bug-eyed. Finally, Sakura said, Namikaze. As in the 4th Hokage, that's Naruto's father? Naruto did his usual neck rub, with a smile in response. Yeah, well. That's right. And his mom was Kushina Uzumaki, better known to some as the red-hot habanero, due to her temper and red hair. Tsunade said, grinning. Now then, even though the council could and would block a normal promotion of Jonin to you, they have no say in me appointing you the title of Special Jonin. What's the difference, Grandma? Naruto asked, confused. Not much, mainly it has to do with the type of training you receive and how you earn the title, Shizen said, pitching in. Jonin is earned by advancing to Chunin first, then taking a Jonin exam. Special Jonin, on the other hand, is appointed by the Kage of the village, and can be given to a ninja of any rank, including genin. Oh really? Naruto asked, before jumping and giving Tsunade a bear hug, almost knocking the woman over. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Easy, Naruto. As you like to regularly point out, I'm not young woman anymore, Tsunade said, hugging him back. I'm glad you like it, but that's not the only things you're getting. You'll also receive normal Jonin mission pay, and the rights to your father and mother's wills, including the Namake's mansion. My parents' house? Naruto asked, pulling away from Tsunade. Is there pictures of them there? Yes, plenty of them. In fact, Sarutobi made sure it would remain untouched by anyone, until you were ready for it, so it has far more of your parents' belongings than just pictures, Tsunade said, smiling. Speaking of which, you can look at and put on that jacket now. Naruto unfolded it, and they all looked at it. It was as long, as big, and looked a lot like his Toad Sage coat, except it was black with dark orange flames at the bottom, instead of red with black flames. It also had the Japanese characters for Special Jonin sewn in on the back. Wow, you look really handsome in it, Naruto Sakura said, smiling. Congratulations, you earned it. By the way, why is all this stuff happening all of a sudden? Naruto? What's the matter? Naruto just put his head down, so Tsunade explained the arranged marriage thing to her. To say she was angry was a bit of an understatement, and after her own rant, Tsunade's desk was completely destroyed, the victim of two women with monster strength and a Jinchuriki. So we don't even know who this girl is? Sakura asked, her fist clenched. No, we haven't received word yet from the Sand Council, Tsunade said, shaking her head. I just know Gaara isn't going to be any more happy about this than we are. I sent a messenger bird to where he's staying in our village right now, so we should expect a visit from him any time now. Sure enough, not a minute later, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro walked in with Gaara opening the door with his sand, keeping his arms crossed. This is unacceptable, Gaara said, in his usual slow, deliberate style of taking. I was never informed of this, they went behind back. I am not pleased. You're not the only one, Gaara, Tsunade said, gesturing to Naruto, who was sitting, with his arms crossed. She explained when she believed it had been written, and about the recent request of the Suna Council, to activate the contract. And that's the way it seems to be. I sent a speedy message to elders in your village, and requested a response as quickly as possible. At the very least, we need to know who they'll be sending. All they said was it was a female kunoichi of high standings into their village. High standings? Then I think I know who they used to marry Naruto, though I'd rather wait for a reply to be sure, Gaara said, opening his eyes, which had been closed. As soon as we receive a reply, we need to meet here again. I am sorry I can help you get out of this, Naruto. You are my best friend, and I wish I could help in this situation, Gaara said, putting a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto nodded but didn't say anything. Despite the good news of the promotion and getting his mom and dad's stuff, he was still down about the marriage. Temari, who was still extremely grateful to Naruto for him help saving her brother over the years, and who considered him a friend, crouched down in front of Naruto. Don't worry, you can consider me, Gaara and Kankuro, your family, and we'll help in any way we can, I promise, Temari said, before wrapping her arms around his shoulders and pulling him into a hug. After a moment, Naruto hugged her back before releasing, and letting her stand up. Thanks, Temari, Naruto said, smiling slightly. Temari smiled back and said, now, enough gloom and doom shit, let's go do something, all of us together. How about we celebrate Naruto's promotion to Jonin? Sakura said, putting a hand on her hip. Promotion? Kankuro asked, surprised. Well, looks like you're moving up in the world, Squirt. You know I'm only a year younger than you, makeup boy, Naruto said, grinning, and I'm as tall as you, so there. Who calling makeup boy? Kankuro yelled, before getting whacked in the head by Temari. Shut up, makeup boy, Temari said, crossing her arms. Oh man, not you too, sis? He whined, folding his arms and pouting. Why don't we head over to Naruto's parents' house, and I'll explain things to you three on the way over? Tsunade said, standing up from her desk. Come on, follow me. The group, which included Naruto, Sakura, Tsunade, Shizen, Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari, walked along the street till they reached the upper-class area of the village, which included such clan estates as the Hyuga clans and the now vacant Uchiha estate. Finally, they came to a stop at a huge gate with a large symbol on the top of it. It was the spiral symbol of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto, it will only open for a Namikaze and a Uzumaki, and since you're of both clans, you need to do it, Tsunade said, putting hand on his shoulder. Simply do as you would for a summoning, except press your blood-covered hand on the door, and say, blood seal release. Naruto did as instructed, and when he did, the gate glowed yellow for a moment before Tsunade stepped forward and said, okay, that means the seal is released, and we can go in now. They all walked through the gate and found themselves in a small town that appeared to have several large blocks to it. Holy crap, this place is big, Kankuro said, looking around. How big is this place, and is it all Naruto's now? Yes, it is all his, and as for the size, I understand it is even larger than that of the Hyuga's clan district. Tsunade replied to him. The Uzushigakyo village, where your clan came from, was well respected by the first and second Hokage as well, in my clan, the Senju clan in general, which is appropriate, considering our two clans are related to one another distantly as cousins, and marriage. In fact, FYI, not only is your clan related to mine, Naruto, but the founder of the Uchiha was started by the brother of the founder of the Senju clans. You mean you are kind of like my grandmother? And Sasuke was like my cousin or something? Naruto asked, both excited and confused. Does that mean I can call you grandma, and you won't get mad anymore? Tsunade sighed and looked at him. Yes, it does, technically, and yes, you can call me that, but not when we're in public. It makes me feel old. Naruto gave her a big hug. Thanks, grandma, I love you. Tsunade smiled at him and said, I love you too, brat. Now come on, let's get to your house, already. Temari walked ahead of her brother, so she was next to Naruto as they made their way to his house. Finding out you're related to the first, second, and fifth Hokage, on top of everything else, must be a lot to take in. Are you alright with this? Naruto looked over at her and smiled. You bet, even though the day stared kind of crappy. I just found out I have real family, Grandma Tsunade here. I've always wondered what it would be like to have a family. Well, I'm glad for you, Naruto, you deserve it, she said, looking ahead as they neared a large mansion. Is this it? Sakura asked, looking at the huge gates that showed a long path of trees leading to a huge mansion. It's insanely big. The path could be seen opening up to a huge area in front of the house with a large pond. Yes, it is, Tsunade said, opening the gates. Come on, up the path we go. A few minutes later they arrived and they looked around for a moment. The area outside the house was indeed large and even had a second, smaller mansion to the left and to the right. After a minute they walked around the pond and to the front doors, where Tsunade gave Naruto a yellow and red key to unlock it. He opened the door and they all stepped inside. It was surprisingly in excellent shape, considering its age. Like the outside, the inside was modern yet old-fashioned in its Italian style, with a large staircase leading to a second floor and doorways on either side of them as they stood in the main entrance of the house. Just how many rooms does this place have? Naruto asked, looked around. And why did Mom and Dad need such a big place? This estate and town that belongs with it were actually part of the Senju clan during the time of my grandfather and your great-grandfather's reign as the first Hokage. The second Hokage, our uncle, then gave this estate to the Uzumaki clan in his will, Tsunade said, looking at him. And as for the size, I believe there is around 29 bedrooms, a gigantic pool, a large training ground, and a garden, among other things here. That's enormous. What am I supposed to do with a place this huge, even with a wife? Naruto asked bug-eyed. Probably the same thing your mom and dad did, use the main house here, and pretty much ignore the other two houses. Besides, someday the Uzumaki clan made up of your children, grandchildren, and maybe even great-grandchildren will inhabit this place, Tsunade said, smiling. Naruto blushed a deep red at the thought of him having children with whoever the woman he was going to marry. Let's worry about one thing at a time, okay? Naruto said, in an embarrassed tone. Of course, now then, this is a lot to take in, so I suggest we do a little exploring of the house, and then all go and grab some dinner together, Tsunade said, facing everyone. We'll come back here tomorrow after we get word from the Suna Council. Does that sound good? Everyone agreed, and Naruto and the others looked around the large house somewhat, with Naruto mostly looking at the pictures of his mom and dad. After about an hour they locked up and left to eat. After dinner at Akamichi's barbecue restaurant they all went their separate ways, with Naruto, Temari, Gaara, and Kankuro going and catching up on things. The rest of the day went as normal as usual, and soon night came and went with the same group as yesterday, being called to Tsunade's office early the next morning. Glad you're here now, Tsunade said, looking at everyone over the top of her desk. I received word from the Sand Village Council. And it's hard to believe their choice, though I certainly approve, and I think Naruto will as well. Gaara, come over here and look at the reply, tell me what you think. Gaara raised an eyebrow before doing as asked. He looked down at and then up at Temari before looking over at Tsunade. He gave a tiny smile and said, I approve of this choice. Well, who is it? Naruto said impatiently. I want to know already. Very well, then I have just one thing to say, Tsunade said, standing up and walking around to the front of her desk where she reached out and took Temari's hand. Congratulations, Mrs. Namikaze. No one spoke and just stared, except Tsunade and Gaara, who smiled, and Temari and Naruto, who both looked blank at the announcement. After waiting for what seemed like forever, Tsunade looked at Temari and Naruto and spoke up. Well, are you two going to say something or not? That is Temari managed to sputter out, while sitting down in a chair, eyes still wide. I'm not sure what to say. I consider Naruto a friend and a good guy, but beyond what I've seen and heard about him, mostly from Gaara and Shikamaru, I really don't know a lot about you, Naruto. I certainly never thought about a romantic relationship with you either. Yeah, same here. You're a really great girl, no woman, but I really don't know much about you either, Temari, Naruto said, sitting next to her. Well, getting to know one another is something you should do now, Tsunade said, and don't worry, the wedding isn't for about a month and a half, so you have plenty of time. Why don't you go check out your house some more together, just the two of you, find out some things about each other while you're at it. Well, I guess I wouldn't mind that, Naruto said, thinking, before looking over at Temari and blushing, for some reason he didn't know. As long as you're okay with it, that is, Temari. She looked over at him and wasn't sure what to feel about it, especially when she saw his blush slightly. I guess I wouldn't mind that either, Naruto, Temari said somewhat nervously. I'm ready to go when you are. Naruto helped to her feet and they walked over to the door. By the way, Temari, your personal stuff was apparently sent as soon as they received my letter. In Naruto, I sent some trustworthy ninjas, including Irika Yumino, over to your apartment and had them deliver your stuff as well. I'm sure it's there by now, Tsunade said to them before ushering them out the door and off to the Uzumaki estate. I think things will turn out okay for them. What do you think, Gaara? Tsunade asked, sitting back down. I agree with you. This will be good for the both of them, I believe, Gaara said, still standing. Me and Kankuro will return to our hotel for now and make our way home tomorrow after saying goodbye to our sister. Farewell for now, Tsunade, Shizen and Sakura. Alright then, I'll see you later, Gaara, Kankuro, she replied to them as they left. Why don't you return to the hospital and start your shift, Sakura? Yes, Lady Tsunade, Sakura said, walking to the door. You know, I'm glad Naruto has found both some family and maybe even love, cause if anyone deserves it, it's him. I couldn't agree more, Tsunade said, smiling to her as she walked out the door and left. And I hope he truly is happy, that little knucklehead. Elsewhere, in Dark Cave, Sasuke Uchiha was sitting down thinking about all that had happened recently. He looked over at his guest, for a lack of a better word. The situation was reversed from when he met the man the first time. Back then it was after he had killed Itachi, and had been saved and had his wound treated by the man. I can't believe how strong that loser Naruto is getting either, he said in frustration. Every time I get a little stronger, he goes and gets even more powerful. It's not fair, damn it. Patience, Sasuke, said the man, apparently awake now. You'll soon have your vengeance, and so will I. We just need a bit of time. Time, that's the only thing we do have right now, old man, Sasuke said, growling, but you're right, we will have our revenge soon enough on both Naruto and the Hidden Leaf Village, won't we, Madara? In due time, yes, but for now, I must rest, and you must train, Madara said, flashing his Rinnegan and Sharingan eyes. Those things aren't going anywhere, and soon they will all know the wrath of the Uchiha clan. Temari and Naruto walked up the path to his, soon to be their, house. Sure enough, as Tsunade had said, Temari's stuff was in front of the front door. This is all your stuff? Naruto asked, confused. It's just a bunch of scrolls, where's your clothes, and pictures and stuff like that. Storage scrolls, but you should know that already, don't you? Temari asked, looking over at him. Wait, you don't have any idea what a storage scroll is, do you? No, sorry, I think I might have heard of one before, but I never bothered asking what it was, Naruto said, embarrassed. How's it work? It's simple, you draw out the right symbols, usually for what's inside, and use the appropriate amount of chakra to place an item or items into the scroll and then again to release them, Temari said, as she picked up a couple of scrolls and walked inside. It's hard to believe you don't know about this type or thing. I was taught by Baki-sensei about a week after I graduated from the Ninja Academy in the Suna. What has Kakashi Hatake been teaching you all these years? To be honest, outside of walking on trees, and assisting in helping me figure out my chakra element, and develop my use of it, After I came back from training for 3 years, nothing, Naruto said, looking down at the ground. I guess because he ignored me and Sakura so he could focus on Sasuke Uchiha. I see, sound like a pathetic sensei anyway. How much do you know about using wind chakra? Temari asked, putting down the scrolls for a moment. I know from personal experience that you can use that wind-style energy ball thing in the shape of a giant shuriken, but what other wind techniques do you know? Naruto thought for a moment, and rubbed his chin before answering while smiling in a cheesy manner. None. Temari groaned and smacked him in the back on the head. Hey! What did you do that for? He cried out, rubbing his head. Only knowing one elemental move after all this time is kind of pathetic. It's not something to be proud of, Temari said, giving him a look of irritation. Looks like we're going to have to change this, huh? We are? Naruto asked, looking up. How? Don't act stupid, 'cause I know you're not. We're going to have training sessions, moron, Temari said, picking up the bundle of scrolls off the floor. As soon as you help me put some of my stuff away, I'm going to play teacher and show you the grade school storage scroll technique later. We'll have to work on your wind chakra. Now let's get moving. Yes, ma'am, he replied, picking up the rest of the scrolls and wailing in behind her. By the way, I had some shadow clones come here beforehand and map out this house. I can take you to our bedrooms. Bedrooms as in separate? Temari asked carefully. Well, yeah. I mean, even though we're going to be married, I figured you want a separate room to yourself. I mean, I'm kind of used to being on my own, and suddenly living in the same room is kind of weird, Naruto said, as they climbed up the stairs and down the hall to the right. I bet it's the same for you, huh? Sort of, though I am used to having my own bedroom. I lived together in the Kazekage mansion with Gaara and Kankuro my whole life, even if me and Kankuro were scared of Gaara most of our life, Temari said, as they came to a stop, a door that had a piece of paper with her name written sloppily on it. So this is my room? Where's yours at? He pointed to the opposite side of the staircase and said, First door on the right after the staircase. Oh, and we both have our own bathrooms, so we don't have to worry about one walking in on each other. Well, it's nice to see you aren't a pervert like both of your senseis have been, Temari said, grinning. At least I hope you're not. Hey, I'm nothing like Jiraiya or Kakashi, Naruto said, his cheeks red. I would never do anything weird, believe it. She grinned and lightly tapped his cheek. You're way too easy. Relax, you leave your emotions on the surface, so I think I would know if you were a pervert. Now then, I've already explained the way to use a storage scroll, so how about a few demonstrations? She asked, putting the bundle of scrolls on her bed. Like I said, channel your chakra into the scrolls and the items will release. Watch me unseal one, then you try with this one. They've got my spare supply of shuriken and kunai in them. Okay, I'm ready, Temari, Naruto said eagerly. Temari spread out the scroll in the bed and channeled chakra into her hand before sliding it across the scroll's inked symbols. A small pile of kunai appeared in a puff of smoke. Alright, your turn, Naruto. He nodded and tried to channel chakra into his hand. His hand glowed blue and he spread it across his scroll. But the shuriken didn't appear, so he poured more chakra into it, and still nothing. He got frustrated and kept pouring more and more of his chakra into the scroll until it glowed blue. Temari looked over to see if he had got it, and saw the blue glowing scroll. What the hell did you do? It shouldn't be glowing. Well, it wouldn't work, so I thought more chakra would do the trick, Naruto said sheepishly. What happens with it glowing blue like this? I don't know, I've never even heard of something like this happening, Temari said, nervously. Throw it out of the room, before it explodes or something. Right. Naruto replied, grabbing the scroll, which started to shake. I think it is going to explode. Not knowing what else to do, he threw it out the window, and slammed it shut. Naruto and Temari jumped to the other side of the bed, and she put up her open battle fan, as a shield for them. After a minute or so passed, they heard a small pop sound and several shuriken broke through the window, and tore some holes through her fan. Temari stared in horror at her damaged fan, and clenched her fist. My battle fan, my favorite battle fan, she said, grinding teeth so hard sparks flew. Naruto. Having been on the receiving end of a furious female before, he knew the drill, and raced out the bedroom door so fast, he nearly left a trail of fire behind him. For the next several hours, Temari chased Naruto all over the village, and he used his skills he learned from when he used to play pranks, to hide expertly. After a while he gave her the slip and found himself in front of the Hokage tower. Figuring Tsunade would be able to help him somehow, since she was a female too, so he ran up the side of the building using chakra, and leaned in the window. Tsunade wasn't in her office, so he climbed and took a seat in her chair, and tried to figure out how to make it up to Temari for messing up her fan. Man, what to do, maybe I'll take my mind of it for a while and do something else till Grandma Tsunade comes back, Naruto said out loud. But what? What are these? He picked up a random paper off Tsunade's desk and looked at it. It was a request form for a B rank mission. Looks like it's a request from the T County for our ninjas to stop raids on their shipments by a large gathering of bandits and high-ranked Chunin rank ninjas. Naruto read out loud. But the description of the ninja is clearly genin at best, not Chunin. This should be a C rank mission, not B. Not thinking she would mind, Naruto wrote out a note and used Tsunade's personal Hokage stamp on it, before sending it to the messenger bird tower with a shadow clone to be sent to the T Country. He also approved a C rank mission and assigned Team Ebisu, which had Konoha Maru, Moegi, and Udon. That was pretty easy. I don't see why Grandma Tsunade is always complaining about her paperwork, he said, grinning. What's the next one? A request from a shop owner in the eastern part of the city for repair funds to fix his shop. How much does he want? 100,000 Ryo. Is he insane? Naruto quickly looked through the papers till he found an active new genin team that was on standby. Perfect, I'll assign them the job of repairing the store as a D rank mission. That will save the village like 60,000 Ryo. Ha! I'm a genius! Naruto exclaimed, happily. Grandma Tsunade should just hand over the title of Hokage to me now. I'm more than ready. The door opened and Shizen walked in with a small stack of papers in her hands. She looked up and saw Naruto sitting at the Hokage's desk. Naruto! What are you doing sitting in Tsunade's chair, and are those mission reports? Shizen asked, dropping the stack she had and racing to the desk. You filled out several files? Actually, you did fairly well, and your ideas for these missions do save the Leaf Village a lot of money. Naruto, how would you like to make some extra pocket money? Extra pocket money? Naruto asked, curiously. How, Shizen-chan? Well, it's no secret that Tsunade likes to skip out on her paperwork and drink sake, so how would you like to do this paperwork for today? She asked, smiling. Not only could you make some money, but it would be good training for when you become Hokage. Naruto grinned like a madman and said, sounds awesome, sis. Well then I'll just leave you here. By the way, why were you here in the first place? Shizen asked, gathering up papers. Oh crap, I almost forgot. It's like this, Naruto said, and he explained what had happened with Temari. And I found myself here, so I decided to try my hand at this paperwork. I see, this isn't good, Naruto. You need to go and apologize to her, Shizen said, sitting in the chair across from Naruto. I know, but I need to do more than just say I'm sorry. I broke her favorite battle fan. I need to replace it. Yeah, I need to get her a new one. That or get it repaired, Naruto said, looking across the desk at Shizen. It was pretty badly torn though, so a new one's the best bet, right? Any ideas on where I would find a shop that sells battle fans? Sorry, I'm not a ninja who really uses weapon attacks, not outside kunai and shurikens. Anyway, Shizen said, thinking. Don't any of your friends use weapon-based attacks? Naruto thought about it for a moment, and then grinned. Yeah, I forget, Bushy Brow's teammate, Panda Girl, uses only weapons for her fighting style. He said, grinning still. I bet she knows of a good weapon shop. Panda Girl? Bushy Brow? Who on earth are you talking about, Naruto? Shizen asked nervously, imagining a literal half-panda/half-girl thing and someone with giant eyebrows. Oh, those are nicknames. I call Rock Lee Busy Brow cause of his big eyebrows, and Tenten Panda Girl cause she always keeps her hair in buns and reminds me of a little panda, Naruto said, rubbing the back of his neck and grinning. I just need to ask Tenten about where she buys weapons, and I'm set. What about this paperwork? Shizen asked, raising an eyebrow. Easy, I'll send a shadow clone to find her, and I'll stay here to do this, he replied, already standing up. Shadow clone jutsu. A second Naruto appeared beside him, waiting for orders. Hey Shizen, can I get that pay in advance? I need it for the new fan. Shizen thought for a moment before smiling at him. I shouldn't, but okay, as long as you guarantee that you'll finish this work. I promise to, and that's my word, believe it, he exclaimed to her. She unlocked the petty cash lockbox and handed Naruto a small brown envelope. Okay, here you go, you can have the 60,000 Ryo that you saved the village on that mission. Naruto grinned and turned to his shadow clone. Okay, you know what to do, so get to it. The clone gave him a salute, and was about to jump out the window to do his task, until Naruto stopped him. Wait, here, take this, it's the design spec sheet I snagged from Temari's stuff. I'm not sure why she had these, but it's a good thing I grabbed them. He handed his clone the papers and let the clone leave to do his task, while he got to work on the paperwork before him. For reference, I'll refer to the shadow clone Naruto with a C after his name. 20 minutes later, the clone Naruto finally found Tenten as she walking toward her squad's training area. Hey! Tenten! Wait up for a sec! A voice yelled out. Tenten turned around and saw Naruto running towards her. She waved to him and yelled out, "Hey there, Naruto, long time no see." Naruto, finally came to a stop in front of, and caught his breath. "Thanks for waiting, Tenten, I need to ask you something." "Sure, what is it?" she asked, smiling. "Well, I wanted to know what store you get your weapons from. I need to get something custom made," Naruto, said, putting his hands in his waist. "You want a weapon made?" "Yes. Someone else has found the love of weapon using," she exclaimed, grabbing his hands and dancing around in a circle. "Welcome to the weapon side, my friend." "Oh man. She looks so happy, and if tell her I just want to know where she buys them to get one for someone else, she's going to be devastated. What am I going to do?" Naruto, thought to himself as she continued to dance with him. "I guess I can have her teach me about weapons. I already have some awesome justice. But you can never have too many attack options." "Yeah, sounds like a plan. I'm sure the boss will be fine with it. Now I just need that fan for Temari." "Hey Tenten. Can we stop celebrating for a minute? You're making me dizzy," Naruto, exclaimed to her. "Oh, sorry about that, I got caught up in the moment," Tenten said, blushing slightly. "So what is it? Did you want to start right now?" First off, I can't start today. I'm actually on a self-appointed mission to get a custom battle fan made for someone, a fellow wind user," Naruto, said to her. "By the way, are we done holding hands yet?" Tenten looked down and realized she had never let go of his hands from before. She turned dark red and instantly let go of his hands. Sorry," she said, looking away. By the way, you said you need a weapon made, right? Well, my dad runs a local weapon shop, and I'm sure he'd be happy to make it for you." "Gee, thanks Tenten, you rock," Naruto, said out loud. "So, can we go? Where's the shop?" "Right, follow me," she said, pulling him along. "It's not far, so keep up." About 5 minutes later they arrived at the weapon shop. "So is this it? It just says Konoha Advanced Best Weapons Shop, no offense, but that's not a very original name for a shop, you know," Naruto, exclaimed, looking up at the sign. "Yeah, I know, Dad wanted to call it the Fighting Dragon, but Mom said no," Tenten said, sighing. "Well, come on in, let's see about that battle fan of yours." They walked in and went past the front counter into the back, where a large muscular man, with brown hair and a ponytail, was working on a sword. He looked over and saw them, giving them a nod. "Hey there, sweetie, who's your friend?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "This is my friend Naruto, you know, the guy who saved the village from the Akatsuki member Pain, and more recently, the hero of the 4th Shinobi War," Tenten said, proudly. "Is that so? Well, good to meet the Leaf Village hero in person. What can I do for ya?" he said, shaking Naruto's hand. "You name it, you got it." "Really? That great, cause I kind of came here cause I need a custom battle fan made for a wind user friend of mine. Can you do it?" Naruto, asked, looking hopeful. "Yeah, sure thing, young man. When do you need it?" Tenten's dad asked, putting down the sword he was working on. "And do you have a specific design in mind?" "Yeah, I have the design specs for it right here. I need a replica of this fan," Naruto, said, handing the man the papers. The man looked over the papers for a moment before looking at Naruto. "This is a somewhat basic battle fan, and shouldn't be much of a problem to do. I can modify a partially constructed one I have and have it ready for you in a couple of hours," he said to him. "How's that sound?" "That's great," Naruto, said, grinning. "I'll come back and pick it up then." "You have to go?" Tenten asked sadly. "I was hoping we could begin your weapon training today." Naruto, patted Tenten on her back gently. "Sorry, Tenten, I gotta get back to the Hokage's office. I'm doing some important work for Shizen," he said to her. "But tomorrow, we'll begin my training and have a blast with it, okay?" Tenten smiled at him. "Sounds great. I only have team training in the morning, so how about after lunch at 1 o'clock? She asked him. "We can train together then." "Sounds good. See you tomorrow, Tenten," Naruto, said, walking to the doorway. "And I'll see you, Tenten's dad, in a few hours. Thanks again." They both waved him off, and once outside, Naruto, dispelled himself, so the real Naruto could absorb his memories and experiences. Back at the Hokage's office, the real Naruto paused the paperwork as he felt the shadow clone's memories and experiences. "Ah man," Naruto said out loud, as he sighed. Shizen walked back into the room and looked at the now somewhat depressed Naruto. "Naruto, what's wrong all of a sudden?" she asked, concerned. "Is it about a mission that needs approved?" No, but in order to get that weapon made for Temari, my clone kinda agreed to be taught about and trained using different weapons with Panda Girl. I mean Tenten, he replied, looking absently at a paper in front of him. And it starts tomorrow. Well, it was worth it for Temari, right? Shizen asked, trying to give it a positive spin. I guess it was, probably, he replied, still slightly depressed. It's not like I don't like Tenten or anything, it's just I don't really use any weapons outside of shurikens and kunai, but I did already promise. And I never go back on my promises. By the way, outside of destroying Temari's fan, do you think things are going okay with your relationship with her? Shizen asked, curiously. Relationship? I'm getting married to already, right? What's the difference? He asked, genuinely confused. Shizen felt like smacking herself in the head, but chose not to and instead said, Naruto, you can't get out of this marriage, but you do want one built on love, right? Love? Yes? He answered unsurely. She sighed and shook her head. Yes is the right answer. You need to take her on dates, spend time with her, really get to know her, and eventually you'll fall in love, she replied, smiling dreamily. Dates, huh? What do I do on a date? He asked, but never got an answer because Tsunade walked in the door, grinning happily. I can't believe Ibiki thought he could drink me under the table, ha! What a lightweight! Tsunade said, walking forward a few feet. Huh! Naruto, what are you doing sitting at my desk, doing official paperwork? I let him, for some extra pocket money, Lady Tsunade, Shizen said, walking over to her. I actually have a good reason for it, and I think after hearing about you'll agree it was a good idea. Oh really? Then by all means, explained Tsunade said, folding her arms. It had better be good, Shizen. Shizen went on to explain everything from when she first found him at her desk to just a few minutes ago. And so as you can see, he was perfect for this job, Shizen said, standing behind Naruto, her hands on his shoulders. Was all Tsunade said, before walking over and looking over a few mission reports and requests. Well, you did do a good job with this, alright. How would you like to take over this stuff for me again tomorrow, brat? Tomorrow? Sorry, Grandma, I promised Tenten to train with her, remember, he said, rubbing the back of his neck. And even more importantly than that, he needs to get closer to Temari, have a real relationship with her, Shizen chimed in. I see you don't know much about that stuff though, do you? Tsunade said, putting the paperwork back down. Okay, how long before you pick up that fan thing from the shop? It's a battle fan, Grandma, and I have like an hour and a half or so. Why? Naruto asked, wondering what she was up to. Tsunade grinned and pulled up 2 chairs to the front of the desk, and had Shizen sit next to her. For the next hour and a half, me and Shizen are going to teach you a few things about women and relationships, so listen up, brat. Naruto could only gulp as Tsunade began, and although he knew the information would be invaluable, part of him wished he was getting tortured by Ibiki or Anko instead. Elsewhere in the village, both Anko and Ibiki sneezed. I hope no one's talking about me, they both thought, before getting back to their duties. And that's basically all you need to know for now, although I'd recommend getting some more current advice from a girl around your age as well, maybe Ino or Sakura? Tsunade said, standing up to stretch. Sakura, Naruto said sadly, as he turned and looked out the window. Naruto, we're all aware of your feelings toward her, but unfortunately, you don't a chance now, so deal with it, Tsunade said calmly. I know this is tough on you, but this could be a really good thing, so give it an honest chance, okay? Now get going, you do have get that fan, right? Yeah, I almost forgot, he replied, grinning. It should be ready by now. He jumped to the window, ready to go after it. Hey, get her a flower while you're at it, and make sure to apologize sincerely, Shizen said to him before he left. He gave a nod, and leapt out, en route to the weapons shop. By the way, even though both Naruto and Temari are Jonin, and Sakura is Chunin, we're going to make Temari part of Squad 7, which will still be active as a team. Get me a form, will you, Shizen? I'm sure I'll get that from Don't. Do you think his relationship will go okay with Temari, Lady Tsunade? Shizen asked, looking over at her. Don't worry, that boy's got pure luck, and a lovability about him that few women can resist. Once they get to know him, that is, he'll be fine, Tsunade said, sitting down in her chair. But now I gotta finish this paperwork, I really need him to show me how to use shadow clones. Hey, Shizen, you know how to make shadow clones too, right? Tsunade asked, in as sweetest voice as possible. She turned but only saw the door hanging open and Shizen gone, the sound of retreating footsteps the thing that broke through the quiet. Shizen! Get back here, and teach me the shadow clone technique! Tsunade yelled, racing out the door after her. I don't want to do paperwork. Meanwhile, Naruto picked up the battle fan, to which Tenten's dad insisted he not pay a cent for, and had a shadow clone race to pick and dethorn a couple of wild roses and then meet up with him by the gates of his district. He was still getting used to that one, and chuckled as he took the flowers from his clone, dispelled him and raced up the path to his house. He arrived at the house and slowly opened the door, looking around for Temari. Looks like she's not even here. Good, I can just put this in her room, before she gets back, Naruto said quietly. Put what in my room, Naruto? Said a female voice, from above him at the top of the banister. I looked for you for quite some time and I almost thought you weren't coming back. To be honest, that thought kind of made me somewhat disappointed. Oh hey, Temari, listen, I'm really sorry about your fan. I even got an exact replica made of it for you, he said, putting his hands together. Is there any way you can stop being mad and forgive me? She walked down the stairs smiling, though Naruto was busy looking down at the floor. I even got you some flowers. I mean, I didn't know your favorite or anything, but I tried to get something nice and I had to do paperwork for the Hokage to earn the money to get the fan. I'm not saying it wasn't worth it, 'cause it was, but... He stopped blabbering when he felt her pull him into a hug. She wrapped her arms around him and squeezed tightly. Naruto, to be honest, I wasn't even mad for that long after I started chasing you. In fact, I spent most of the night trying to find you so I could tell as much, Temari said, releasing her grip on him. It was partially my fault for not watching your technique more closely, in the first place. Well, I'm still sorry. So, do you want this fan? He asked somewhat nervously. I know it's not the original, but it's pretty close. I'll gladly accept it, the roses, and treasure them both, thank you, Naruto, Temari replied, stepping back. Now, it's kind of late, so let's try to get some sleep, and start fresh tomorrow, okay? Okay, so what do you want for breakfast tomorrow? He asked as they walked up the stairs. You can cook something beside ramen? Temari asked, jokingly. Who would have thought? He groaned and said, Come on, Temari-chan, believe it or not, Pervy Sage, I mean Jiraiya, had me learn some cooking skills during my training all those years ago, not to mention I've always lived alone, and learned some stuff from the old man third Hokage too. Okay, it was just a joke, you knucklehead, Temari said, grinning. For breakfast tomorrow, I'd like an egg white mozzarella omelet with buttered toast and orange juice. Okay, my princess, your wish is my command, he said, bowing in a joking manner. So, I guess I'll see you tomorrow then, Temari, good night. He was about to walk away, when he felt her tug on his sleeve. He turned around and raised an eyebrow. What is it, Temari? He asked, in an unsure tone. We technically just made up from our first relationship-related fight, and we are about to go to sleep, right? She asked, smiling. Do you know what two people in a relationship who make up after a fight or are about to go to sleep do? He shook his head and stared blankly at her. She smiled and walked up to him. She leaned forward and kissed him on his cheek, and was pleased to see he had turned bright red, after she pulled away. Before she walked her room, though, she turned and said, By the way, for future reference, my favorite flower is the desert lily. He stood there, nodding with his face red, sputtering, even after she said goodnight, and closed her door. He reached up and felt his face. He had gotten kissed, sure it was only on the cheek, but it was his first kiss nonetheless. All he could do was smile, and walk to his room to get ready for bed. There was a note from Irika saying he did Naruto a favor and set up his bedroom for him, and that he wanted to get together when he had a chance to get dome ramen and catch up. He smiled and silently thanked Irika before he took off his pants, jacket, and put on his nightcap with the dog face on it, that he still refused to get rid of, since Irika had been the one to get it for him when he was little. He crawled into bed and couldn't help but think about the kiss from Temari. It had only been a kiss on the cheek, but he had never known any real affection outside of the third Hokage, and later, Irika-sensei. He still wasn't sure about marriage, and couldn't deny his feelings he still had for Sakura, but he was beginning to think that maybe marrying someone like Temari wasn't the worst thing in the world to happen to him, after all. With that, the long day caught up with him, and he was snoring away. Meanwhile, Temari was laying in her own bed, thinking about all the things that had happened that day. It's hard to believe I'm getting married in a little over a month and a half, she said to herself. And to Naruto Uzumaki no less. I should be angry about being forced to marry someone, but at least it's a trustworthy and kind person. It could have been a hell of a lot worse, all things considered. I could have had to marry that lazy-ass Shikamaru. She couldn't help but laugh about that. Sure, he's gotten a bit better, but he's still lazy, easily distracted, unmotivated as ever, and would rather sleep or watch clouds than do anything else, she stated, looking up at the ceiling. I also think it was quite amusing to watch him lay down on the ground to look at clouds next to the tree during the final round of the last Chunin exams. Either way, This is going to be a very interesting thing, she thought to herself. I guess since I haven't got any more experience in relationships than he does, we're both going to have to play this by ear, but I think I'm looking forward to it. With that, she too went to sleep, wondering what tomorrow would bring. Despite Naruto burning the egg white omelette on his first try, he succeeded on his second attempt, although the toast ended up slightly more dark on one side. Temari was however pleased with the effort he made to keep his promise of making her breakfast, and didn't care that he failed first. She knew he had done well, either way. Of course, the morning hadn't gone completely smooth. With both of them half asleep, either of them seemed to remember the other was there and came out of their rooms about the same time in their pajamas, Naruto in his boxers and t-shirt, Temari in a shirt and panties. Needless to say that when they saw each other they quickly raced back into their rooms, faces red. They met each other in the hall a few moments later, this time with more clothing on. Good morning, Temari, Naruto said, with slightly red cheeks, as he avoiding eye contact. Hey there, Naruto, good morning, she replied, her face also red. Okay, how about we ignore what happened and start fresh, sound good? Naruto gulped and nodded, trying to get the image of Temari in her underwear out of his mind. He wasn't a pervert, just a healthy teen boy, so it wasn't his fault. Yeah, let's do that, Temari. Shall we go get breakfast? I did promise to make some. She agreed and they went on their way, down the stairs. After breakfast, Temari decided, mostly due to Naruto bugging her to do so, that would go and begin his wind chakra training. They used the map Naruto had done up with his clones to find the training area. Holy crap, it's huge, Temari! Naruto exclaimed, spreading his arms outward. It's like 3 squads 7 training grounds combined. Yes, it definitely is big, almost too big, Temari said, looking around. This was probably the grounds that was used by a large group of ninjas at once. Are you ready to begin, Naruto? She looked over and saw him using his Rasengan against some small trees. So impatient, Naruto, get your butt over here, now! Naruto stopped what he was doing and ran over to her, skidding to a stop by her. Here and ready, ma'am, he said with a salute. Temari grinning and shook her head. You can be so weird sometimes, Naruto, you're lucky you're kind of cute. He sputtered slightly at the comment but managed to keep his blush to a minimum. After a moment he said, So what are we doing first? Temari-sensei? Just stick with Temari, smartass, she said, smiling. We're going to go back to basics, Naruto. First, you need to sharpen your chakra, and use it to cut a leaf in half, with as clean of cut as possible. So, grab a leaf of a tree, and hold it by the stem. He nodded and grabbed a leaf of the nearest tree. He held it by the stem as instructed and focused his chakra, like a Suma sense had taught years ago. After a moment, dozens of deep cuts appeared in the leaf, before he cut it almost in half diagonally. Not bad, but you waste too much chakra, and you took too long to cut it in half, Temari said, looking at the pieces of leaf. But all things considered, it's a good start. Once you get better you may want to think about getting battle fan like I use or some other wind manipulating weapon, in order to manipulate your wind chakra, and unleash some very powerful attacks in the process. So cool! Naruto exclaimed, balling up his fists. I can't wait to learn some awesome moves. Hee. One thing at a time there, ramen boy. Temari said, smiling at him. I'm not teaching you anything until you get a lot quicker and more accurate with your wind chakra release. But Temari, he pouted. Why not? Sorry, but you need to control your wind chakra better first, so that you actually do more power attacks, Temari said, in response, while holding her hand on her hip. And by the way, that pouty face doesn't work on me, so give it up. He folded his arms and mumbled about unfair woman, while she laughed at the spectacle. 1 minute he acts like a grown-up that's wise beyond his years, the next like a 5-year-old. At least he's got a fun personality, she thought to herself. By the way, Temari, are you going to go visit Gaara and Makeup Boy? Naruto asked, serious once again. They are leaving tomorrow, and you probably won't have as much time to visit them after we're married. Temari thought about it for a second. It's true she hadn't spent a lot of time just relaxing with her brothers since the end of the war. She was too busy dealing with diplomatic-related things that had her running all over the village. I think I'd like to do that, you don't mind? She asked, looking back at him. I would like to see them again before they left. Not at all. If I had family I know I'd want to visit them, especially if I wouldn't get to see them again for quite a while, Naruto said, in a sad manner. Naruto, Temari said, feeling sorry that outside of the Hokage, he hadn't had any family most of his life. You have me now, and furthermore, Gaara and Kankuro, or as you call him, Makeup Boy, could be considered your brothers now as well. I guess you're right, I have brothers. This is so awesome, Naruto said, cheering up. I have a grandma and now 2 brothers, and soon a wife too. I'm really happy, you know? I'm glad to hear it. Being gloomy doesn't suit you. Temari replied, walking up to him and resting a hand on his shoulder. We're all here for you, so don't you forget that, knucklehead. Will do, he replied, grinning. So why don't you get going? I have training and other things to do as well, you know. Really now? Okay then, I guess I'll see you later, Naruto, she replied, putting her battle fan on her back and walking away. I'm not sure how long I'll be gone, but I'll try to get home around dinner time. Bye, Naruto. Bye, Temari, he yelled, as she walked off down the path to the front gates. Now then, first things first. I promised to train with Tenten, and then I gotta find a way to set up a great date with Temari, like Grandma Tsunade and Big Sis Shizen told me to. I'll figure out the date thing later. Now I gotta go meet Tenten, Naruto said, as he ran to lock up the front door. Afterwards, and hopped into the trees and leaped from branch to branch toward the main part of Konoha. As Naruto went off to train with Tenten, Temari decided to visit her brothers, Gaara and Kankuro, before they left the village, and Naruto had suggested. She went straight to their hotel and nodded at the guards. Is Gaara and Kankuro around? She asked them. Yes, they are, Lady Temari. Please go in, one of the guards said, and stepped aside for her. She walked and found Gaara doing paperwork at his desk while Kankuro was fixing some joints on one of his puppets. The both looked up when she came inside, and greeted her in different ways. Hey, how's it going, sis? Is Blondie behaving? Kankuro asked, smirking at her. Don't be an idiot, Kankuro, even if it is very hard for you to do, she replied, smirking back. Everything's fine the most part. For the most part? Gaara inquired, putting his paperwork aside. Is there something wrong, problems perhaps? Not really, I mean he did damage my battle fan beyond repair yesterday, but it's fine, she said casually as she sat down on a free chair. He broke your battle fan? Kankuro asked in surprise. Did you kill him? Need help burying the body? No, I did not kill him, because A, it wasn't entirely his fault, and B, he went through a lot of trouble to buy me an exact replica of it for me to replace it, Temari said, crossing her arms. I should be used to it by now, but you know, it feels cold compared to the sand village. So you and Naruto made up? Gaara asked, standing up slowly. Yeah, he might be a goofball, but at the same time he seems to be a really sweet guy, Temari said, smiling. I'm almost tempted to thank the Sand Council for this. Without this marriage thing, I might have missed out on getting to know him. So you're okay with this whole thing? Kankuro asked carefully, well aware of Temari's temper. I thought you'd be pissed. Oh, believe me, I am, as the training fields at Naruto's house, or I guess our house now, can contest to. Temari said, scrunching her eyebrows. But there's no sense in being mad at Naruto or the Hokage, it's not their fault. That belongs to the Sand Council, the Leaf Council, and that traitor Danzo. They're the ones who did this, though even now I don't understand why, given how much he apparently hated Naruto. Well, it's good to know you two are getting along more or less, Kankuro said, going back to his puppet. Yeah, it is, I guess, Temari said, smiling. I wonder what our future holds, no doubt with the number one most unpredictable knucklehead ninja at my side, it's going to be very interesting. I am certain he will make you happy, Temari, Gaara said, folding his arms. He did make it a promise after all. He never breaks a promise. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, Tsunade was half doing her paperwork and half pushing it off onto Shizen to do for her. The door to her office opened and Shizen came in holding a numbers of papers with a strange look on her face. Shizen? What's wrong? Tsunade asked, setting down the mission report she was skimming over. Since it was revealed to the other clan heads about Naruto's marriage and status as the only surviving member of the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans, there are a few other clans that apparently aren't happy with Naruto marrying Temari and want him to marry girls from their clans instead. Shizen replied, walking over to the desk with the papers and setting them down. Which clans are involved in this argument? Tsunade asked, raising an eyebrow. A number of them, actually. Shizen said, looking at one of the papers she had brought in with her. The Hyuga clan demands him to marry either Hinata or Hanabi Hyuga, the Aburane clan asks that he marry Shino's cousin, Akira, and the Yamanaka clan believes it would be good for Naruto to marry Ino. 3 clan fighting the marriage rights to one blonde knucklehead, Tsunade said, putting her elbow on the desk and resting her chin on her hand. Obviously they're all denied. Do they really think they have a shot? Apparently yes, Shizen said, with a worried expression on her face. In fact, all of the clan leaders I just mentioned have made appointments to see you and discuss this all at the same time. Tsunade slammed her face down on the desk in frustration. Ugh, stupid bickering dumbass, she said, her face flat against the desktop. Fine, what time are they going to be here? Looks like in about 15 minutes, Shizen replied, with a sympathetic look on her face. Sorry, Lady Tsunade, I just got this paper myself. How is it Naruto can cause my headaches when he's not even here? Tsunade asked rhetorically, as she picked her head off the desk. Shizen just smiled nervously at her, and didn't know what to say in reply. Are they already here waiting to start the meeting by chance? Tsunade asked, in a depressed tone. I'm not sure, but I can go check the waiting area, if you like, Shizen said, walking to the door. By all means do, the Hokage replied, opening a drawer on her desk. And if they are there, bring them up so we can get this shit moving along. Yes, of course, Lady Tsunade, she replied, walking out the door and closing it behind her. As soon as she left, Tsunade pulled out a storage scroll and activated it. Out popped a small bottle of sake, which she eagerly took a big gulp from. Nothing like some fresh, relaxing sake to calm you down before a no doubt stressful meeting, she said to herself before she heard faint footsteps coming towards her office. Shit, must be Shizen with the clan heads, better put this away for now, I'll need it afterwards. She quickly resealed the sake into the scroll and put it back into her desk, and just in time as the door opened just as she closed the drawer. You're here, welcome, Hayashi Hyuga, Shibi Aburame, and Inoichi Yamanaka, Tsunade said, in as a polite voice as she could muster. Have a seat and we'll begin. The three took their seats and waited for the Hokage to start. Before we begin, Shibi, may I ask where the Aburame clan leader is and why you're substituting for him? Tsunade asked, in curiosity. He is unfortunately dealing with the rebuilding of our clan's diminished Kikaichu insect colonies that were lost in the war and could not make it, Shibi replied in the usual soft-spoken Aburame way. As the second in command of our clan, I was sent to in his place. Very well, then we can begin now, Tsunade said. The reason for this meeting is due to all three of your clans claiming that Naruto Uzumaki should marry into your clan instead of marrying into Temari's family. We'll go from left to right, so we'll start with you, Hayashi. Thank you, Lord Hokage. There are many reasons why he should marry into my clan, including his lineage as being the last of highly praised Uzumaki clan, and the Namikaze clan. He is also related to you and the Senju clan in general, making him the great-grandson of the first Hokage, the great-grandnephew of the second, the son of the fourth, and the grandson of you, the fifth. He's related to 4 out of the 5 Hokages of this village. That means he should marry into clans from here, not another village, Hayashi stated, with arms folded and his face calm and stoic. As fascinating as that history lesson is, I'm already quite aware of these things, Tsunade said, folding her hands together and putting them on the desk. Tell me why he should marry into your clan in specific. Of course, outside of keeping his bloodline contained within the village, Naruto's positive influence has changed both my daughter Hinata and my nephew Neji for the better. Before, Hinata was scared of everything, wouldn't try, barely made it to Genin, could barely speak without stuttering and had no confidence whatsoever. But Naruto changed that, and now she is strong, confident, and is back on track to be the next clan head, Hayashi stated, looking forward. If they were to marry, then just imagine how far she could go, and I now know about Hinata's massive crush on the boy, which she's apparently had since before the Ninja Academy. He obviously cares about her as well, so it would be a perfect match for them. I see. Well, what about you offering either Hinata or her younger sister as potential fiancés? Hinata at least makes sense, but Hanabi is 11 years old. That's nearly a 6 years difference in age, Tsunade said in outrage. You expect him to marry a 11-year-old girl? Why on earth would you want that anyway? In nobility, it is often the case that girls are married off to men that are sometimes as much as 20 or 30 years older. In this case, a mere 6 years is hardly that bad, Hayashi said calmly. Besides, Hinata only has about a year left before it's decided whether or not she becomes the next clan head. If she is deemed unworthy, then it will fall to Hanabi upon her 18th birthday. As such, the council will no doubt push for her, the next clan leader, to marry Naruto instead of Hinata. Tsunade sat back and tried to absorb the information Hayashi had given her. It was true that she couldn't interfere in clan traditions such as marrying daughters to older males, and that keeping the bloodlines of both the Uzumaki and Namikaze in the village would also be seen as important if this case was brought to the attention of the Fire Lord. Still, she hadn't even heard from the other 2 clans yet, and had to consider their views as well. I see your point well, Lord Hyuga, but I cannot make any decision without the Fire Lord's input. Besides, I also need some input from the Yamanaka and Aburame clans as well, she finally said, after a few minutes. Shibi Aburame, you're next. He nodded and began. Much of what Lord Hyuga stated is quite true, however. Besides us having always been supportive of him in council meetings, the Aburame clan can uniquely sympathize with young Naruto, as while he has but one presence living inside of him, my clan's bodies are host to the presence of millions of insects, and are much like him in that regard. You too make some good points, Tsunade admitted finally. Inoichi, you can have your say now. Thank you, my lady. The reasons Naruto should marry into my clan are as follow. First, my daughter Ino will be the next clan head and is his age. Secondly, she has spoken about how amazing he is, and how cute he is since his return to the village from his nearly 3-years-long training. Inoichi said, clearing his throat afterward. Now, another thing to consider is that as a clan of mind walkers, we would be skilled in assisting him with any mental anguish from dealing with the 9-tailed fox he carries. Once again, you a good point. However, in your case, from what I understand, your daughter Ino was one of the many children who tormented him as a very young boy. Just because her opinion of him has changed for the better in more recent years, doesn't erase her cruelty towards him. Tsunade said, looking at Inoichi. I'm sorry, but I must look out for Naruto's best interests. Even though I couldn't stop his marriage to Temari in the first place, I do have input about this particular situation, and I believe that aren't benefits to him marrying into your clan for you to justify your position. Your clan has no say in this as of now, I'm sorry. I see, Sai, very well, I will take my leave, Lord Hokage. Inoichi replied, standing up and walking out the door. Now as for you two, Tsunade said, looking at Inoichi and Hayashi. If you still wish to challenge this marriage, I'm required to send a message to the Fire Lord, wait for a reply, which may take between several days and several weeks. Furthermore, this will require me to send a message to Suna Council, informing them of your challenges, and put the current marriage plans of Naruto and Temari on hold as well. Hayashi spoke up at that moment. Perhaps there is another option we haven't considered, one which will make all the involved parties satisfied, he said, rubbing his chin. Since Naruto is the last of both the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans, does he not qualify under the Clan Restoration Act? He could marry Temari, as well as into the Hyuga and Aburame clans at the same time. I have no doubt it won't be long before the Leaf Council thinks of activating that act for him anyway. Tsunade only grumbled under her breath in response. A minute later she finally spoke again. Once again you bring up a point, however, this entire thing will still require third-party guidance from the Fire Lord. And since I take it you're both serious about going through with this challenge, I need to send a message to him. Are you both in agreement to this? Both Hayashi and Shibi nodded wordlessly to her. Fine, Tsunade-sai, I'll send word in tomorrow's mail run, and for now I need to attempt to think about all that was said here and consider things somewhat until I get word from the Fire Lord. The two clan leaders then both stood up, bid her farewell and left. As soon as the door closed she collapsed onto the desk. Ugh, Shizen, why do so many people insist on making both my life and Naruto's life so damn complicated? I'm not sure, Lady Tsunade replied Shizen, who had been quiet the entire meeting. So what are we going to do anyway? Not a damn clue, but at least I brought us about 3 or 4 weeks, she replied to her assistant. 3 or 4 weeks? But I thought you said it would take between several days and several weeks, which implies a maximum of 2 weeks, not 3 or 4, Shizen said, confused. Why would it take so long, Lady Tsunade? Tsunade grinned at her and said, because I'm going to have one of my umbu deliver it, and take a slow and very long detour to get to the Fire Lord, and then another detour on the way back. That way it will stretch the mission out to 3 or 4 weeks. I see, but what can you do in 3 or 4 weeks to help Naruto, that you can't do in 2? Shizen asked, almost afraid of the answer. Don't you worry, I have it out planned out, Tsunade said, still grinning. Trust me. After nearly 2 hours of training with Tenten, which mostly centered on the uses, strengths, and weaknesses of several different weapons, they decided to call it a day. To be more accurate, however, they stopped because Might Guy, Rock Lee, and Niji had showed up telling Tenten they had a mission. They bid each other farewell and went their separate ways. Naruto walked through town, with his hands behind his head, thinking. I still need set up this date thing, like Grandma Tsunade and Shizen Nichin told me to, but I've never been on a date before, so what do I do for a date? Not noticing where he was walking, he ended up in front of the flower shop owned by Ino's family. Ino's a girly girl, I bet she'd have some advice on dating better than no one, I guess. He opened the shop door and walked in, finding Ino standing behind the counter, looking bored. She looked up when the door opened and saw Naruto come in. Hey there, Naruto, she said, giving him a smile. Never thought I'd see you in here. Don't you usually pick your own flowers? Yeah, I do, but I'm not here for flowers, Ino-chan, he said, walking up to her. I need your advice on something. My advice? She asked quizzically. Sure, what is it about? Well, it's about setting up the perfect date, he started to say, but he barely got that out before Ino squealed like a schoolgirl. Oh my god, oh my god! Who is it? Who are you dating? Did Billboard Brow finally say yes? Is it someone else? Ino asked in one breath, her eyes twinkling. He reached out and put his hands on her shoulders. Calm down, Ino-chan, sheesh. No, it's not Sakura-chan, and if I tell you absolutely cannot tell anyone, besides Sakura-chan, who already knows, he said calmly. Do you agree? She took a deep breath and nodded. I promise, now tell me, tell me, tell me. Naruto groaned and began to regret coming into the shop. I thought you were more mature than this, Ino. I mean, you usually are. Huh. Well, maybe you're right, she replied, blushing from embarrassment. Sorry about that, I'll be calm and mature, so go on. Who's the lucky lady in the great Naruto Uzumaki's life? I'm not that great. But as for who it is, it's Temari of the Sand Village, Naruto replied, putting his hands in his pockets. The blonde girl who's always hanging around with Shikamaru? Ino asked, in surprise. I never would have seen that one coming, that's for sure, so how did you two, hook up? It's a long story and one I'll tell you some other time. Now about that advice, he said, trying to get her back on subject. Will you help me plan a perfect date for her or not? That should go without saying, of course, she replied, putting her apron on the coat hook and closing up the shop. Come on, we'll head back to my house. I only have about 15 minutes till my lunch hour break anyways. We'll discuss things there. Okay, sure, lead the way, Ino-chan, Naruto stated, following her out the back door and down the street. After walking for a few minutes, they stopped in front of a 2-story, light blue house. So this is your house, Ino-chan? Yup. Let's go in, Naruto Ino replied, walking up to the front door and opening it right up. Come on, hurry up, if you want advice then get a move on. Right. You're sure your parents won't mind you bringing home a boy, especially me? He asked, hesitantly. She stood in the doorway and looked at him. Relax, A, you're just a friend who's getting relationship advice, and B, my parents know that you're not the 9-tailed fox, Naruto Ino said, smiling. Now come on, stop stalling. He gave her a smile back and walked inside with her. Her dad, Inoichi, was writing up a mission report. He looked at them as they entered the living room. Ino, I see you're on your lunch break, he said, putting paperwork down. And you brought Naruto here? I hope you're not trying to date him so you can use his status as a hero to boost your popularity. Dad, Ino yelled. I am not trying to date him, or use him like that, sheesh, Naruto's my friend, for crying out loud. Alright, I believe you, so then what are you two up to then? He asked, raising an eyebrow. Simple, I'm helping him set up the perfect romantic date, Ino said, holding her hands together, with a dreamy look in her eyes. I wish I had a guy to take me on a romantic date. Is it too late for you break it off with her? Ino, relax. Are you going to help me or just make googly eyes at me? Naruto asked, with a tiny red tinge on his cheeks. I could always ask someone else. No, wait, I'll stop. There's no one better at this type of thing than me, she said, pleading. Don't take away my fun, I mean my love of helping people, hee. Right, Naruto said, shaking his head. Typical Ino-chan. Well, come on, what should I do for this date? Just out of curiosity, who's the special lady, Naruto? Inoichi asked. Well, it's Naruto said nervously. Her name is Temari from the Sand Village, Dad, Ino replied for him. This is going to be their first date, both with her and in general, and he's asked me for help. Well, I need to turn in this report to the Hokage, so good luck with that, Inoichi replied, walking to the front door. And don't try anything adult, like I trust you, but I'm still a father. Dad, Naruto is not some perverted creep, he's a gentleman who would never try anything like that, Ino yelled at her dad. He exited the house, but poked his head back and momentarily. I was talking about you, Ino, he said, with a small grin, be closing the door. Ino ranted and raved about her dad, while Naruto just grinned to himself. After she was finally done, she took him into the living room and she sat down on the couch. Okay, have a seat and we'll begin planning your ultimate date, she said, smiling. Come on, sit, I'm not going to bite unless you're into that kinky type of thing, that is. Naruto sputtered out a no way, while Ino just laughed at him. Okay, jokes aside, are you ready? Yeah, Naruto said, sitting down on the couch. Let's do this. Ino grinned and rubbed her hands together. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is. An hour or so later, Ino had indeed helped him come up with an amazing date, as she had promised, though some of her ideas were a bit weird. And remember, even though this isn't a fancy dinner, make sure to open the door for her, pull out her seat for her, be polite, and don't eat fast either, Ino said, as Naruto walked out her front door. As he gave a wave as he ran off, she remembered she had to get to the hospital for her shift, and fast. Shit! I'm going to be late, Ino said to herself, as she locked her door and ran down the street. And I gotta change the sign on the flower shop door too. She quickly ran into the flower shop, put up the closed sign, locked the door, and ran on her way to the hospital. A few minutes later she arrived, with 2 minutes to spare. Ha, made it! Hey billboard brow, Ino said, as she noticed Sakura, signing in for her shift as well. Looks like I'm not the only one cutting it close, huh? Sakura looked over at her, but only made a aha sound before she signed her name and grabbed her nurse's jacket. Hey, what's wrong, Sakura? You seem really quiet today, Ino said, as she signed in and grabbed her own nurse's jacket. Are you okay? Yeah, it's nothing, really, Sakura said, talking absently. I'm fine, let's just go to do our rounds. Wait a second there, Sakura, Ino said, grabbing Sakura's arm. Tell me, what's wrong, or either one of us is taking a step forward. Sakura, is it about something? No. Someone? Maybe. Well, tell me already, Ino said, letting go of Sakura's arm. Naruto is dating Temari from the Sand Village now, Sakura said, facing away from Ino. I'm just concerned about him, that's all, just as a friend. Yeah, I know, I helped him come up with a perfect date for him and Temari at my house earlier, Ino said to her. We just split up and went our separate ways right before my shift started. Wait, are you jealous of him and Temari? Of course not, it's nothing like that, Ino, really, Sakura said, waving her arms in front of her. I don't know, maybe I'm a little jealous, but maybe it's just because I'm so used to having him by my side. Sakura, he'll still be by your side, I mean, he's your teammate and friend. Having a girlfriend's not going to change that, Ino said, giving a smile that turned into a grin. Though I have to admit, he is pretty hot these days, too bad I didn't get a chance to bag him. Ino. Sheesh, I don't want to talk about it anymore, okay, let's just get to our shift before Lady Tsunade finds out, Sakura said, turning back around. Nut, you're right, he is pretty good looking, too bad I didn't give him a change sooner, myself. Well, if he ever breaks up with Temari, you and I will have our chances, then, Ino said, grinning still. Right. Sakura gave her a strange, almost sad look, and replied, Yeah right, come on, get to the west side of the hospital, and I'll do my rounds on the east side. She then walked off, leaving Ino there standing, confused. Why that look from you, billboard brow? Is there something I don't know? She thought. Not knowing what else to do, and nor wanting to get in trouble, she decided to leave it alone for now, and get to work herself, but intended to talk to Shizen or Lady Tsunade about it later. Elsewhere, far away from the Leaf Village, Madara Uchiha had mostly recovered, at least enough to walk around using crutches. This waiting is so fucking irritating, Sasuke yelled, punching a practice dummy. Aren't you healed enough to train me yet? Or did I kidnap that medical ninja to treat you for nothing? Calm down, Sasuke. My injuries were quite severe thanks to the nine-tailed brat, remember? I will take time, Madara said sharply. For now, practice mastering the use of the new Susanoo Final Amaterasu technique I created and taught you, and soon you'll have a powerful ability at your disposal, so stop whining and get to work. And Uchiha does not complain, remember that. Sasuke growled in Madara's direction but didn't say anything. Instead, he walked out the door and headed to the training area. As he activated his Mangekyo Sharingan and built up his chakra to activate the Susanoo, all he could think about was the not-so-far-away day, when he would finally kill Naruto along with the rest of the Leaf Village. And now watch the village burns to ground, with its villagers screaming for help, despite there being no one left to come to their aid. Sasuke started to snicker at the thought, and then went into a full-blown laugh. Hee hee ha 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 ha. And his insane laugh rang out through the area, as he trained and plotted his ultimate revenge. It was after Ino's shift, and late in the day. She had to deliver the day's reports to the Hokage, and then she could leave for the day, and she wondering if Naruto's date had gone okay with the advice she had given him. Speaking of Naruto, she had some things to ask the Hokage or Shizen about Sakura in regards to Naruto. She knocked on the office door and got a reply to come in, a moment later. Hello there, Ino, did you come hand your reports in? Shizen asked, looking over some paperwork on Tsunade's desk. Yeah, I did, Ino replied, handing the papers to her. By the way, I had a strange conversation with Sakura earlier. A strange conversation? Shizen asked, giving her a curious look. What was it about? It was about Naruto, actually, Ino replied, pitting a hand on her hip. I basically got Sakura to admit she has feelings for him, but when I told her she could snag him if he broke up with Temari, she got a kind of sad look on her face. Any ideas why? Shizen remained silent for a moment before answering her. I'm not sure really, maybe she was just jealous of Temari getting with Naruto before she could. You don't sound very convincing, Shizen said in a dry tone. You know something, and I want to know what that is. Don't worry about it for now, said Tsunade, walking into the room. You'll be giving information soon. No, Sakura's my friend, and so is Naruto, said defiantly. If you know something, I have the right to know too. Tsunade held her head for a second. Okay. Tomorrow, I'll have you, the rest of the Rookie 11, and a few others come here in the morning, she said to Ino, sighing. We'll discuss it then at 9 now, it's late, so get home, your shift is done. Fine, Ino finally said, turning around. Bye. After Ino walked out the door and closed it behind her, Tsunade slumped onto her chair. Well, I suppose they were bound to find out sooner or later, she said, leaning back in her chair. I need to call a council meeting for tomorrow morning, at about 8, to make my announcements, or at least some of them. You aren't going to tell them everything? Why not? Shizen asked, putting some papers into a drawer of a file cabinet. You don't trust them, do you? Is there a reason to? 'Cause I don't see any, Tsunade said, looking at the ceiling. They've always been against me and Naruto. I know all about how they looked the other way when Jonin Ninja tried to kill Naruto as a boy. I also know how they've done everything in their power to undermine my decisions as Hokage. Shizen remained quiet. Now then, I only intend to tell them that some important information will be revealed tomorrow, and that's all I'm saying to them, Tsunade said, sitting up and looking at Shizen. And don't you dare tell them anything behind my back again. I know you only thought you were doing good, but you only did harm. I'm sorry, Lady Tsunade, I won't say anything to anyone, Shizen said solemnly. You have my word, I swear on my uncle's grave. Very well, Shizen, go use one of the guest rooms here, in the office, to get some sleep, she said to her. I'm going to get some sleep myself after I write this up and send it off. Shizen nodded to her, bid her good night, and walked through the door leading to guest room. Tsunade quickly wrote up the information and had a messenger bird carry it to the council chamber for them to read when the council convened at 6 a.m. the next morning. The next morning at about 8 a.m., the Konoha 11, along with several clan leaders, Gaara, and his siblings, most of the Jonin minus Kakashi, who was probably late at his own birth, and Sakura, who hadn't shown up or giving a reason for her absence. After waiting about 15 minutes, Kakashi finally appeared in a swirl of leaves. He gave a wave to the Hokage and said, Sorry I'm late, Save it, Kakashi. As much as I enjoy hearing your creative excuses, we have things to discuss, Tsunade said, folding her hands together. Now we should wait for Sakura to arrive, but she already knows most of this, and I can fill her in on anything extra. I still say you have no right to inform everyone here about anything important before you tell us in private first, Hamura Mitokado said, in a distasteful voice. As the council of the Leaf Village, we have that right. I agree, Tsunade. We needed time to edit what you revealed to those present, his teammate, Koharu Yutane added, from her seat. And that's exactly why I didn't tell you what I was going to speak about. I didn't want you trying to tell me how to do my job, Tsunade said, with her eyebrows narrowed. The days of me playing lapdog to the council is over. In fact, you can think of it this way, from now on, you will be playing lapdogs to me. Both Koharu and Hamura were wide-eyed and in shock at what she had said. Now then, let's get started, Tsunade said, not giving them a chance to speak. First of all, while I was in the coma, and Gaara was at the Kage Summit, the Leaf and Sand Councils decided to set up a arranged marriage between Temari of the Sand and Naruto. Everyone in the room was frozen at those words and looked over at Naruto, who was sitting on the ledge of the window, staring out at the village as Temari stood near him. Before anyone could say anything else, Sakura burst through the door, showing two unconscious Anbu laying on the floor behind her. Lady Tsunade, you cannot let this happen. Naruto should not be forced to marry someone he doesn't even love, she yelled out, clenching her fist. I was all happy about the other things for him, but I refuse to let this stupid wedding thing happen. Sakura. That's enough, Tsunade said, standing up. If you want to be upset, then that's your right, but knocking out my Anbu, along with ranting and raving, is not. I don't care. I came to a realization recently. I once told Naruto a lie to stop him from going after Sasuke, but what I said is actually true, Sakura said, putting her red face down. I love you, Naruto Uzumaki, and I want the option to explore that. This time, Naruto joined the others in the room in being wide-eyed and speechless. Tsunade looked at her apprentice, Sakura, and couldn't help but feel sorry for her, even if she knew there was anything she could do. Sakura, I wish there was. I'm not done yet. I'm not the only girl who loves Naruto and would like the chance to have a relationship with him, Sakura said, looking back up, her face still red. I'm speaking off course about Hinata. She's been in love with Naruto since before even the Ninja Academy. How is it fair that she and I are denied the chance like this? There was a gasp and a couple of thuds, and everyone looked over and saw that Hinata had fainted and was laying on the office floor with a dark red face. Tsunade looked over at Naruto to see if he going to say anything, but found he had fallen out the window and was on the roof laying, in shock. Tsunade shook her head at the sight of not one, but two of her ninjas, one a chunin, the other a recently appointed jonin acting like a bunch of school kids. This is not what I need right now, Tsunade said, sitting back down. Sakura, come here a second. Sakura walked over to the desk and leaned in as Tsunade leaned forward. Look, Sakura, none of us are completely happy with the situation, but take a look over at Temari for a moment, she said, in a whisper voice that only Sakura could hear. Tell me what you see and hear right now. Sakura looked over to where Tsunade was looking at. Temari was outside on the roof kneeling next to Naruto, talking to him with a smile. Hard to believe someone like you would faint, Temari said, grinning. You sure are something else, Naruto. Not funny at all, Temari-chan, Naruto responded, looking up at her at a small smirk. Are you going to help up, or just stare at my handsome face all day? Maybe I should leave you here, fox boy, Temari replied, returning the smirk. And to think, after such a wonderful date last night, I was looking forward to our next one. So you're allowing me the honor of taking you out again? What's the catch? He asked, grinning. Nothing ramen related, and we're good, she replied, standing up and holding out her hand to him. Now get up, your friends probably have a lot of questions and will soon have more, no doubt. Sakura turned back to Tsunade. Just because they look happy doesn't mean anything. Naruto is a nice and really likable guy, Sakura said, putting her hands on the desk. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on him. You're too much like me, so I figured as much already, Tsunade said, folding her hands together. You were there when I told him about this, well, most of it. But you should know that it would cause problems for both the Leaf and the Sand villages if this arranged marriage were called off. Be that as it may, Naruto deserves happiness, and so do I and Hinata, Sakura said defiantly. Consequences be damned, Lady Tsunade, I will be pursuing him, and I might even get Hinata too as well. Fine, whatever. Do what you want, just do it later, I have things to discuss still, Tsunade said, holding the bridge of her nose. Why don't you go do your rounds in the hospital since you know this stuff anyway? Fine, but I will keep my word, Sakura said, pulling her hands off the desk. I gotta go do some work at the hospital, but Naruto, don't think I'm going to give up on you, and my love I have for you. She blew a kiss at him before giving an evil look at Temari, who gave her an equally nasty look back. Don't try anything, Pinky, Temari said, crossing her arms. I think Naruto is a great guy, and if you think I'm just going to sit here and let you take him, you're barking up the wrong tree, honey. Before a few days ago, you hardly knew him that well, Sakura said, walking to the door, as the others moved out of the way. Me and Hinata over there, on the other hand, have known him most of his life, that gives us the edge. If you got a problem, I'll be glad to help you clear it up, Pinky, Temari said, walking towards her. So go on, say something, I dare you. I'd be happy to, sand bitch, Sakura said, clenching her fists. When and where? Enough, you two. Sakura, go do your duties now, Tsunade said, slamming her fist on her replacement desk, hard enough to leave a dent. And you and I are going to have long discussion about things later, young lady. But what about Temari? She was also saying stuff, Sakura said, pouting. Shut up, billboard brow, just go, Ino said, putting her hands on her hips. You're the one causing problems right now, not her. Ino took Sakura's shoulders and pushed through the door, closing it behind her. Go cool off, Sakura, Ino said to her, from inside the office. We'll talk later, go ahead, Lady Tsunade. I'm taking Naruto to get focused, you can go ahead since I know this stuff already, Temari said, gently taking a hold of Naruto's shoulders. Come on, Naruto, let's go. I'll get you some ramen. Naruto, who was kind of out of it from learning that his long-time crush, Sakura, liked him back, and that Hinata liked him too, nodded absently and let himself be walked away by Temari. She put her arm around him and walked him out the door. Will Naruto be alright? Hinata asked, finally recovering from her faint and fall. And did Sakura really tell him that I like him? I'm afraid so, Hinata, Tenten said, standing next to her. The cat's out of the bag, I guess. In any case, I do have more to tell you, Tsunade said, standing up. Are you all composed enough for me to continue? Or do you need a few more minutes? Her question was obviously directed at Hinata, who she was looking at. Hinata was looking down, but gave a small nod in response. Tsunade nodded back to her and leaned against her desk. Alright then, as I said, Naruto and Temari are being forced into a political marriage, but that's not the end of my news about him, Tsunade said, looking around the room. Naruto could be considered the most royal person in the Leaf Village, as he is related to some of the most powerful and well-known ninjas to ever grace the Leaf Village, and the world as a whole in general. While most of the individuals present didn't know how to respond, Niji, who while also surprised, was used to hearing extraordinary news and remaining calm, spoke up. I see, how is this possible exactly, Lady Tsunade? He asked calmly, though those who knew him well enough could see a bit of shock dancing in his eyes. As some of you may know, I am related to the first and second Hokages. Naruto is as well, she said to them. And furthermore, he is also related to the fourth Hokage and me as well. The fourth Hokage. Tsunade held her ringing ears, that kind of hurt from the loudness of everyone yelling at the same time. You people are even more loud than Naruto can be sometimes, Tsunade mumbled, holding her head. If you are done, I'll continue. Tsunade then explained Naruto's connection to the first and second Hokages. Then she told them of how his mother, and the wife of Minato Namikaze, was known as the fierce and powerful Kunoichi, known as the Red Habanero, Kushina Uzumaki. And the powerful Uzumaki clan and its village, the Hidden Whirlpool, was so well respected by the first and second Hokages that to this day we honor them by displaying the village's spiral symbol on many things, including Chunin and Jonin vests. Tsunade said in one long sentence. Now, after all I've explained, are there any questions? What does this mean for Naruto's standings, privileges, and responsibilities? Shikamaru asked, as one of the few calm people there. I figured that you'd be the one to know stuff like this, Tsunade said, grinning. Yes, those things will change for him as a result of this information being made public now. These lies are outrageous, Tsunade Koharu Yutane said as she stood up. Just how far will your lies go, to make that demon seem like a hero and noble person? You're dismissed from the council as of this moment, Koharu. Grab your shit and don't come back, Tsunade said, trying to control her anger. And if you feel the same way as she does, then you can join her, Hamura. You have no say in such a thing, you need to learn your place, Hamura started. No, you need to learn your place, you old hags, Tsunade yelled out. Now get out my office, get your crap, and leave, or I'll have you escorted out against your will. Do I make myself clear? Both Hamura and Koharu looked they were going to say something more, until Tsunade snapped her fingers and two Umbu appeared beside them. The Umbu walked the two out the door, and it wasn't long before the sounds of footsteps faded. Now, as I was explaining, Naruto is the last of two different and powerful clans, so yes, he will soon be required to have a seat on the council, and a few other responsibilities that will be determined as we go along, Tsunade said, sitting on the edge of her desk. I will also be assigning some bodyguards to him at his new house, and maybe even a few of you Chunin during missions he goes on, though those will be somewhat more limited than before. Now I suggest you all take some time for this massive wealth of information to set in, Tsunade said, walking behind her desk and sitting down. You're all dismissed. Everyone slowly made their way out of the office, with Tenten and Niji putting their hands on Hinata's shoulders to comfort the girl, who would no longer be able to get with her longtime crush. Close by, Naruto had finished his 10th bowl of ramen, while Temari sat next to him, with several of her own bowls in front of her, 3 total. The owner of Ichiraku Tuchi had been a bit surprised when she wanted a second and then third bowl of ramen. She had simply said that was some stupid girl who constantly worried about occasionally gaining a few pounds, and that she could easily work off any extra calories with training. After they finished, they walked away towards the Uzumaki clan area, with them walking side by side. Feeling boldish, Naruto slipped his hand into Temari's, and was pleased to find she closed her hand around his, squeezed his hand gently. They had really come to like one another, and though it was hardly love yet, it wouldn't be long before it turned into it. They made their way down the street, through the gate, and up the path that led to their home. They decided after the things that had occurred already they would take the rest of the day off, to relax and enjoy each other's company. So Naruto-kun, when can I expect a second date? Temari asked, as they sat down on the roof of their house. I really found our first one to be really fun overall, so I hope the second one will be too. Naruto looked over, and despite feeling a little strange still from the stuff being talking about at the Hokage's office, gave her a smile. Don't worry, how about tonight? He asked, looking hopeful. I know you don't want to go anywhere, so I know I make you dinner here. You make dinner for us? No offense, Naruto, not your kitchen skills are a little lacking, Temari said, giving a smile. Maybe you do that some other time after you practice a bit more. No, really, I can do it. I can have my clones read every book on cooking they can find at the library, and then I'll practice a bit too, Naruto insisted. I've cooked before, you know. Pervy Sage had me learn a few things. I just never made eggs before, that's why it didn't turn out so great. Well, okay, if you really want to set up something, go for it. I'm looking forward to it, Temari said, standing up. I'll see you later. Where you going, Temari-chan? Naruto asked, standing up too. Well, if we're going to have a date, I need to get a nice-looking outfit for tonight, she said, smiling. I told you I never went out on date before my one with you, so I don't much in the way of date-appropriate clothing to wear. You don't have to dress up, just wear what's comfortable. I'm sure you'll look great, he said, with reddening face. She grinned and gave him a quick kiss on his cheek, before walking away. That's sweet, but even I like to dress up sometimes, she said, crouching down to jump onto the balcony to get inside. Then she added, in a somewhat sultry voice, I think you'll like it too, Naruto-kun. She left the red-faced Naruto standing there saying wow. As he said, Naruto sent several clones to the library and spent the next several hours reading every cooking book they could find. After reading and reading, the clones began to dispel and Naruto slowly absorbed the information they had learned. As soon as he absorbed the info from the last clone, he immediately began trying out different recipes, hoping to come up with the perfect dinner date for Temari. While Naruto was preparing dinner, Temari was in town looking for the perfect dress, and she was having a few problems. She hadn't really brought much in the way of dresses and didn't know which shops had what. I should have just said it was a casual date like the first one was, Temari said to herself. I wonder what places around here have good dresses? Temari? A female voice said from behind her. What are up to? I thought you went off with Naruto earlier. Temari turned around and was Ino standing there. Oh, Ino, hi, Temari said, looking at her. I'm actually looking for a nice dress for my date with Naruto tonight, but I've never shopped for anything like that, either here or in the Sand Village. Shopping? Date? Eek? Ino squealed out at her. OMG. I love shopping. Can I join you? Please say yes. Temari was sure about going anywhere with the shrill girl, but didn't really know any other females in the city, so she didn't have much choice. I'm sure if you show me where the best shop for dresses are, Temari said, reluctantly. Deal? Ino squealed again, much to the annoyance of Temari. Awesome. Okay, let's go, she said, pulling Temari along like a rag doll. We're going to have so much fun. Somehow I just know I'm going to regret this, Temari said, trying to keep on her feet as Ino pulled her along. After a long time of being shown the shops, Temari settled on getting a kimono instead of a dress. She picked out a black colored with dark blue flower-adorned kimono, a red obi belt, and matching sandals. I thought a dress would be better, but I gotta say, that kimono really suits you, Temari, Ino said, smiling. Naruto's going to forget how to breathe when he sees you in this. Well, I don't know about that, but I do hope he thinks I look good in it, I suppose, Temari said, looking in the mirror. I'm not really a girly girl or anything, but all the same, I gotta admit, I do feel nice dressing up like this. I know, right? Anyways, go take it off and get changed so we can leave, Ino said, setting down her bags. And I want to hear about your date tonight with Naruto too. Well, actually, I'm letting Naruto come up with it again, he insisted on it, in fact, Temari said, as she changed out of the fancy kimono and got back into her normal attire. Honestly, I'm feeling excited and nervous at the same time about our second date. The first was a lot of fun, so I'm hoping this one will too. Really? Well, I'm sure it will be magical, Ino said, grinning. You're so lucky to have found a great guy like Naruto. I mean, I noticed him before, but with the stupid war crap going on, I never got a chance to make a move. Yes, I suppose I am, in a way, Temari admitted. I never would have considered dating him before, but after getting to know him a bit, I think like the idea of marrying him. After they were done, they bid each other farewell and went their separate ways, with Temari really looking forward to her date. She soon arrived at home and found a note attached to the door from Naruto. She quickly pulled it off the door and looked at it. Dear Temari, meet me out in the garden, behind the house, at the open space part in the western end with all the shade at 5:30, signed Naruto, she read out loud. That like 45 minutes from now, I gotta get changed into this kimono. She grabbed her bags, raced inside and up the stairs to get changed. After about a half an hour she was finally ready, with about 15 minutes to spare too. Should I go out there early? Or would that ruin it? Temari said to herself. Well, I guess I could just make my way towards that area and walk really slowly to kill time. With her mind made up, she slowly and carefully walked down the stairs, as she not used to wearing Geta sandals. She honestly liked her normal attire better, but this was a special occasion, and she'd worn kimonos before, so it wasn't completely horrible at least. She slowly walked through the large house till she reached the back area, and went outside into the backyard area. She hadn't really been out in this area before, only once really, and only knew a little about the layout. She turned and started walking west to the area Naruto wanted to meet her in. After about 10 minutes, since it was a really big garden and she was walking slow on purpose, she neared where she was going to meet Naruto. She just stepped out into the opening when she saw Naruto, dressed in a black kimono with orange belt, and black and orange jacket standing there lighting a few candles. "Naruto, you look pretty handsome, though I'm surprised to see so much black and so little orange," Temari said, walking forward. "And this dinner also looks incredible, you didn't have to go this far." Naruto turned around and his cheeks heated up as he stared at Temari in her kimono. "Wow, you look really beautiful, Temari," he said, looking over every inch of her. "Just wow." Temari also felt her cheeks turn red from slight embarrassment at being looked at in such a way by a guy. With her reputation and the way her brother Gaara used to be, most guys were either too scared of her brother, or just not seemingly interested in her for some other reason. So this was both unusual and very nice to her. She shook herself out of her frozen state and walked forward to him. Now it was his chance to be shocked and happy, because Temari walked up to him and wrapped her arms around him. She rested her chin on his shoulder and simply stayed there. Temari-chan? This is really nice, but why?" Naruto asked, blushing. "I don't know, it just felt right to do," she said, smiling and blushing. "Not many people have ever called me beautiful before, just my mother when she was still alive, no one else, so to hear that you think I'm beautiful feels nice." "Well, it's true," so Naruto said, trailing off, as they pulled away from each other. "So shall we start our date?" "Love to," she said, walking over to her chair. "Looks romantic, I like it." Naruto was about to sit down when some of Ino's advice ranged through his head. "Whenever your date is going to sit in her chair, you always pull it out for her and push her in before she asks to you too, remember that, Naruto?" Here, let me, Temari-chan," he said, pulling out the chair for her. "Thank you, Mr. Gentleman," Temari said, sitting down and letting him push her in. "You obviously didn't learn your manners from Jiraiya though, huh?" "No way, I don't think he knew the meaning of manners," he said, snickering as he sat down, fidgeting in his kimono. "Stupid kimonos, why are they so uncomfortable?" Temari just laughed at him for a moment. "I somehow figured you weren't a dress-up type," she said, grinning. "Though the fact that you did it for me is really sweet." Yeah, you're welcome," he said, rubbing the back of his head. "I did do it just for you after all." "So what are we having, oh Romeo?" she asked in teasing manner. He lifted up the tops covering the food to reveal their dinner. "I made baked salmon, with roasted mushrooms, green peppers, and sprinkled with chopped onions, curry, and garlic," Naruto said proudly. "We also have a salad, even though I'm not really into vegetables much, with light salad dressing, some red wine, and a piece of chocolate cake for dessert. You like? And here I thought you couldn't cook very well, your shadow clones are quite the useful thing, huh?" she said, very impressed. "It looks great, and this quiet dinner date was a great idea, Naruto-kun." They ate while chatting a bit in an effort to get to know each other a bit better and were about to have dessert, when a female voice said, "Fancy running into you here, Naruto." Temari and Naruto looked over and saw Sakura, of all people, standing there smiling. "Sakura? What the heck are you doing here? How did you even find your way here?" Naruto asked, wide-eyed. "That's easy, I follow one of your clones that was bringing back fish, while concealing my chakra," she said, very calmly. "Tell me, do you like my dress?" Sakura was dressed in a low-cut, sleeveless black dress that ended at her mid-thighs. She also had a pair of pink high heels on, that she obviously wasn't used to wearing. "You like, Naruto-kun?" she asked, walking forward, while swaying her hips seductively. "Walking in heels isn't easy, so you better appreciate it." "What the fuck do you think you're doing here, ruining our date, you pink-haired slut?" Temari yelled, jumping up. "Get your slutty little ass out of here before I kick your little ass." Now, Naruto doesn't like girls with foul mouths like that, do you, Naruto?" she asked, as she walked closer. "Forget this bitch and come have some fun with me, we can go on that date you're always asking me about." "No, I want to stay here with Temari-chan," Naruto said, narrowing his eyes. "You're my friend and teammate, but I want you to leave Sakura-chan." "I know you don't really mean that, she's just making you hate me," she said, coming to a stop a few feet from him. "Come on, take me out, Naruto. You know you want to." Temari walking in between Naruto and Sakura. "Leave now, bitch, before I make you leave," Temari said angrily. "So, are going or not?" Not," Sakura said, crossing her arms. "Not without my Naruto, that is." Temari wasn't the type of girl to back down, and was a tomboy by nature in many ways, so instead of saying anything else, she hauled back and clocked Sakura right in the middle of her face. Sakura stumbled back, holding her face. Naruto wasn't sure how to react at this point. Sure, he wanted Sakura to leave, but at the same time she was his friend. You stupid blonde bitch! Sakura yelled, pulling her hand away from her face to reveal a very bloody nose that was really gushing. I'm going to fuck you up! She ran at Temari swinging, but despite being a Chunin kunoichi, she didn't have as much experience in hand-to-hand combat as Temari. She dodged out of the way, only receiving a small brush of Sakura's churka-charged fist. Temari did feel a tiny cut on her cheek, but knew it was nothing major at the moment. However, she also knew about Sakura being able to increase the strength of a punch to the point that she could turn a rock into dust, and she had to be careful. Sakura, there you are, stop it now! Ino said, running. I knew you were up to something, following Naruto earlier. Ino? Naruto asked, in surprise. What are you doing here? Yeah, sorry about interrupting your date, Naruto, Temari, but I was following Sakura here, to stop her from doing something stupid, Ino said, out of breath from running. Are you going to stop this and come with me, Sakura? Get out of here, Ino pig, I'm busy kicking this blonde bitch's ass, Sakura said, holding her bleeding nose again. Looks like she's the one kicking your ass, but nevertheless you need to come back with me, Ino said, slowly wailing over to her. You should know I let Lady Tsunade know about you, and she said she would send over some Anbu to drag you back to her office. I convinced her let me try and stop you first, if you were up to something, but you only get one shot, Sakura. Damn it, Ino, you bitch. I'm not going anywhere right now, Sakura said, growling. Get out of my way before I kick your ass too. Fine, I tried, she's all yours, Anbu, Ino said, stepping aside. 3 Anbu appeared beside Sakura and grabbed her arms. The Hokage wants to talk to you, Miss Harino, the one in the hawk-shaped mask said. Make this easy on yourself, Girly, the one in the snake-shaped mask said. Fine, do it. The 3rd Anbu knocked Sakura out and disappeared with Sakura, and the hawk mask-wearing Anbu, while leaving the snake mask-wearing Anbu there. Sorry about the commotion, Geki, all good now? She asked, putting a hand on her hip. Yeah, it's fine now, ankle, thanks, Naruto said, stepping forward. Good timing too. We aim to please, brat, she said, grinning under her mask. Well, sorry about your date, at least it was interesting, right? Yes, sure it was, ankle, keep up the jokes, and you're not invited to the wedding, Naruto said sarcastically. Like you catch me in a dress anyway, she said, taking off her mask. I might crash the party still, but it won't be in a dress. Isn't taking off your mask on duty against rules? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. Not that I'm an expert or anything. Yeah, but tough shit, I'm a captain of a Anbu squad, so I only answer to the Hokage. She don't like she can kiss my fishnet-clad ass, Anko said, grinning. Anyways, I gotta go, give my report and whatnot. See ya later, brat. She ruffled up his hair as best she could for spiky hair, and put her mask back on, before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Yeah, I'll be going too, bye you guys, have a good night, or at least try to, Ino said, before she ran off into the night. Sorry our date turned out so bad, Temari-chan, Naruto said, looking over at her. Maybe our next one will turn out better. I don't know, a nice dinner, a mostly quiet evening, and I got to hit someone, Temari said, holding her hand. I thought it was an overall good night, more or less anyway. Well, I think this is enough excitement for one night, Naruto, Temari said, looking over at him. I'm going to call it an evening. You coming? Yeah, I guess, he said, walking over to her. Shall we? He held his arm out to her, indicating he wanted to link arms. Instead, she took a hold of his hand and pressed the side of her body up against his as they began to walk. This is a nice way to end the night, huh? A nice little catfight, Temari said, leaning her head on his shoulder. Followed by a nice little stroll together. I'm not much for romance, but I like this. Yeah, me too, Temari-chan, he said, smiling at her. They walked together till they reached the back door, where they went inside and up the stairs. At the top of the stairs they separated and faced each other, holding hands. I wasn't sure at first about you, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't like you, Naruto said, holding her hands gently. I'm looking forward to the day we get married. I like you too, Naruto, she said, leaning into him. And I'm looking forward to our marriage too. Their lips met in the middle briefly, before pulling away. They leaned in and kissed again right away, before putting their arms around each other. They kissed for a few minutes before Temari pulled away. Sorry, I think we should stop before it gets too far. I want to wait till our wedding night to do anything more, she said, smiling at him. And with that wine setting in, I don't think I'd be able to stop if we started again. Good night, Naruto. She walked away, and into her room, leaving a smiling and blushing Naruto standing there on his own. He walked to his own room, took off his kimono and fell asleep almost as soon as his head hit his pillow. For the next several weeks, Sakura kept trying to interrupt Naruto and Temari whenever they were with each other. Tsunade had assigned Anbu to follow Sakura, and they ended up pulling Sakura and Temari apart from fighting almost on a daily basis. This was greatly getting on Naruto and Temari nerves as they came to really like each other, and it only got worse after Temari was mad into a leaf ninja and placed on Naruto's team. Even after the first incident, when Tsunade discovered Sakura was drunk, before crashing Temari and Naruto's date, and she ended up throwing her into a cell overnight, Sakura seemed as determined as ever to break them up. After about almost 2 weeks had passed, Tsunade had received a letter from the Fire Lord about the Resurrection Act that the Hyuga clan, the Aburame clan and originally the Yamanaka clan as well, had requested be enforced. Looks like these clans have legitimate claim for this. This is just another headache I don't need, Shizen Tsunade said, shaking her head. Send out a copy of this to the Hyuga and Aburame clans ASAP. Yes, Lady Tsunade, Shizen said, taking the paper. So what are we going to do about this? I've been thinking about this, and we have about 3 weeks left before the Fire Lord visits about this matter, Tsunade said, looking up at Shizen. If Temari and Naruto were to marry before or around that time, then the disputing clan's request would be overthrown. Why would it be overthrown by that? Shizen asked, raising one eyebrow. Why would them marrying before he visits make a difference in this situation? Because this was an arranged marriage set up by 2 village councils, Tsunade said, smiling. And according to a paper I found while searching through the vaults before, when we were trying to overthrow the original arranged marriage, says a request for the Clan Restoration Act would then be considered null and void. Besides, I've had the strangest feeling for a short time now that someone or something is coming to our neck of the woods very soon, Tsunade said, looking out the window. It's only a feeling, but the last time I felt this I ignored it, and it turned out to be pain of the Akatsuki. Well, I hope you're wrong this time, considering all that's happened recently, Shizen said, walking up next to her. Though I do wonder what the future will bring for us. I'd rather it not be yet another disaster. Tsunade looked over at her briefly before turning back to the window. Yeah, so do I, Shizen, so do I. I will get stronger and kill him, Sasuke Uchiha said, as he and Madara walked through the forest. They had begun travel a few days ago and were looking for strong allies to assist them in exacting revenge against Naruto Uzumaki and perhaps the Leaf Village as well, just for fun. They were currently on their way to the Hidden Rain Village to look for recruits. They were wearing cloaks to hide their identities and also used genjutsus to further obscure themselves. They paddled their small boat up to the dock area by the entrance to the village and got before tying the boat up to a post. Then they walked up to the gate that was guarded by 2 Rain Village guards, one very tall and slim, the other was average height and quite muscular. Halt! What reasons do you have for entering the Rain Village? The tall guard, standing at the front gates, asked. State your business. I don't have to explain anything to a loser like Ao, Sasuke yelled, as Madara smacked him in the head. Forgive my idiot son, he doesn't have many manners, I'm afraid, Madara said, stepping forward. We are simply travelers, looking for food, supplies, and a little rest. The guard looked them over for a moment with a raised eyebrow, before moving aside. Fine, you may enter after we issue you 2, some temporary passes. For how long will you be here for? Oh, probably not more than a few days, at the most, say 3 days. Maybe less, Madara said, pretending to be polite. We'll definitely be gone before the end of 3 days. The guard wrote them up a couple of 3 days town passes and handed them to Madara and Sasuke. They were about to walk through into the village when the other guard blocked them. There were a lot of problems in our not-so-distant past with the Akatsuki. Add that to the fact that I don't trust you too, the muscular guard said, in a deep voice. I'll be keeping an eye on both of you till you leave, so don't make any trouble or I'll have you skidding out the gates so hard, you'll have scars on your asses for the rest of your lives, got it? Sasuke sneered under his hood, while Madara nodded and said yes to them, before the guard moved to the side and let them pass. They walked on through and made their way through the city. Sasuke, for the time being I'll refer to you as Genji, which means 2 beginnings, an appropriate me for you, considering, Madara said in a whisper as they walked. In addition, you'll call me father or dad, understand? Fine, Dad, Sasuke growled out, clearly unhappy about this development. Now what? I wasn't lying, by the way, when I said we need supplies. It is, after all, a long ways to the Leaf Village, Madara said, coming to a stop. You will take this list and this money, and gather our supplies. What? Why the hell should I do such commoner's work? Sasuke asked, in a nasty tone. And what would you be doing in the meantime, that's so important? Me? I will be looking for one of the 7 demon swordsmen who is rumored to live here, Madara replied calmly. Now go, we need to hurry up and get going. Or do you wish to procrastinate, and not get what is ours? Just one problem, the 7 swordsmen are dead, Sasuke said, in a know-it-all tone. Unless we plan on using a corpse to help us. Ignorant boy, don't assume you know everything, Madara said, in a harsh tone. There is a newer member of current generation of the Seven Swords living here, and I will find him. Now go get our supplies, and stop complaining like a whiny little brat. Sasuke growled at him again, but stomped off to find some cheap merchants in town, without saying anything. Madara watched him leave before walking off to search for the clues about the location of the swordsman. I hope this doesn't take too long. I have just as little patience as the boy does when it comes to repaying the Leaf Village and Naruto Uzumaki in particular. Leaf Village *. Back in the Leaf Village, Naruto and Temari's relationship was progressing nicely, despite Sakura's attempts to ruin it. She would continuously try to interrupt their dates and butt into when they were resting together after taking breaks during training. Kakashi had had enough and went to the Hokage to do something about it. He walked on the roof over to the open window of the Hokage's office. Yo! He called in, alerting the Hokage of his presence. Got a minute, Lady Tsunade? Kakashi? Why can't you and Naruto just use the door like everyone else? She complained, putting down her sake glass. So what do you want? Well, once again I'm here to talk about the issue with Sakura, Kakashi said, hopping through the window. She's just getting worse and worse. I don't even think it was this bad when Sasuke was on the team, and she was in love with him. I should have figured as much, she replied, looking up at him. So what did you want to do about it? Well, considering Naruto and Temari are Jonin and Sakura, and Sai are Chunin, maybe having Squad 7 officially break up unless there's an urgent mission would be the best solution for things, Kakashi said, pulling out his Make-Out Paradise book. What do you say? You have a point, I suppose. Fine, so be it. Make sure you let them know, ASAP, she said, folding her hands. Anything else? If not, you're dismissed. He nodded to her before disappearing from her office in a whirl of leaves. I better get prepared, for when Naruto comes complaining about this, she said to herself, taking out some more sake. Which should be any time now. Right, she was about Naruto showing up at her office, which happened about a half-hour later. Yo, Grandma Tsunade, Naruto said, jumping through the open window. So you're breaking up Squad 7? Yes, but 1, it was Kakashi's idea, and 2, it will keep Sakura away from you and Temari, Tsunade said, sipping some sake as she walked close to her desk. Any questions? Yeah, just one. Can I have my own team? He asked, sitting down in her chair and putting his feet up on her desk. I am a Jonin after all, and I have a lot of experience from Kakashi, Pervy Sage, and Toad Geezer. Well, maybe not Kakashi, but the other two definitely taught me a lot. Tsunade spit out the sake in her mouth and started laughing at him. She was even holding her stomach until she looked up and saw him with a confused expression on his face. You're serious, aren't you? She asked, as she stopped laughing and sat down on the chair in front of her desk. Why the sudden interest? No real reason, but my dad taught a team, my mom probably taught a team, and most of the other Hokages hate teams. Naruto said, looking at her seriously. Besides, I want to pass on the will of fire that the old man third Hokage and Pervy Sage entrusted to me. I see him very well. I'll allow you to take on a team with one condition, she said, crossing one leg over the other. This will be on a trial basis, and only if I decide the team is doing well will you be allowed to stay one. Do you agree? You got it, Grandma Tsunade, Naruto said, grinning as he stood up. I'll whip the team into shape, believe it. By the way, don't you want the list of soon-to-be graduating ninjas to choose from before you leave? She asked, walking over to a filing cabinet. There are a couple of spots left for a squad captain for you to choose from. Oh, I'm not choosing a new team, I'm taking Closet Pervert's team, he said, flooding his arms. You know, Konoha, Maru, Moegi, and Idan. And what makes you think you can just take another team that already has a sensei? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Because I've seen the way he so-called trains them, he said, making quotation gestures in the air. They need to train right, and I'm the one who can do it. May I remind you that they need a captain who can motivate them, not one who is friends with them? Tsunade said, sitting down at her desk. Besides, Udan doesn't seem cut out for ninja work. He's shown a lot of promise in research and might be better suited for the cryptanalysis unit. Then get him put in there as an apprentice, and I'll take the other two, he said simply. Besides, after I'm done, I guarantee they'll hate my guts. Just like I hated Pervy Sage's guts when he was training me. I see. Well, putting Udan into the cryptanalysis unit is one thing, but have you forgotten that you need 3 members for a squad? Tsunade said, handing him the papers with the soon-to-be ninjas list on them. Pick a third and then you can do your plan. He looked the first paper over for a minute before looking at the second piece PF paper. This second paper isn't a newly graduation list, this is from a past one, but hey, Hanabi Hyuga isn't on a squad and yet it says she graduated. I'm confused. Hanabi? Oh, there wasn't enough other graduates for her to be on a squad, and I guess her father, Lord Hayashi, decided it didn't matter, Tsunade said, taking the paper he handed to her. You want to use her on your squad? Why not? She related to Hinata and Niji, right? Naruto said, nodding to her. Where are the three of them right now? According to the schedule, Konoha Maru and Moegi have the day off, and I assume Hanabi is at the Hyuga clan house right now, she said, looking at the mission and schedule reports on her desk. If you're serious about using them, I can have a messenger go fetch them and order them here. Can you fetch them? He asked impatiently. I want to get training them on chakra control and see which elements they are. Good plan, for a knucklehead, she said, grinning. Okay, I'll fetch them, so try to be patient, even if it's not one of your strong suits. She had two Umbu track down the three, and after about 15 minutes, Konoha Maru and Moegi arrived, with Hanabi showing up minutes later. Nei-san! Two of them cried out, jumping on him and hugging him. Guess which two? While Hanabi stood there expressionlessly, waiting for the Hokage to inform her of what she needed. Tsunade waited for others to stop fooling around before she started talking to them. Good of you three to make it here in a short amount of time. I'm sure you're eager to know why you're here though, so I won't beat around the bush, she said, leaning forward. From this day forward, you three will be designated Squad 11, under recently appointed Jonin, Naruto Uzumaki. Konoha Maru and Moegi cheered while Hanabi widened her eyes in response. It is very doubtful father will approve of this, Hanabi said, looking at the Hokage. He only allowed Hinata to do so because he didn't even think she would graduate from the academy. I don't really see him agreeing to this. I don't remember asking him. He may rule the Hyuga clan, but I make the decisions when it comes to the village, Tsunade said, looking the pale-skinned girl. This decision is final, unless you want to interrupt him at important meets for something so trivial, so he can come argue with me about it. Hanabi visibly flinched at the thought, and said, I see, I will still need to inform him of this, however. Fine, do so after training today, Naruto said, walking in front of them. We'll use Squad 7's training grounds since my team has been broke up due to too many high-ranking members. If you don't know where the grounds are, then memorize it when we go there in a minute. Now move along, we need to get started. This is going to be so awesome, Konoha Maru said, excitedly. Big brother Naruto is totally going to teach us some awesome jutsu. Be quiet, you moron, your voice is quite irritating, Hanabi said, nastily. If I have to endure being a team with you, I don't want to have to hear you so much. Oh, bite me, you stuck-up little brat, he yelled back. Pull that stick out of your ass and grow a sense of fun. How dare you speak to someone of my stature like this? Hanabi said, yelling at him. You are nothing more than a little owl. Naruto had calmly walked behind them and smacked them both in the back of the head, hard enough to make them stumble. Both of you need to shut up, he said, looking down at them. I won't stand for bickering like this on my team. You don't have to become best friends, but you will respect one another and get along. Do I make myself clear, maggots? You have no more right to touch me than he does to talk to me in such a way. Besides, maggots? If anyone here is a maggot, it is you, Hanabi said before getting smacked in the head again. Shut your mouth, little brat. I'm your teacher, a jonin, and I'm far older than you, so shut it down and don't talk back or I will make your life a living hell, little girl, Naruto said, leaning close and letting a little killer instinct flow off. Do I make myself clear? She shuddered slightly but maintained a still pose before answering with yes in a small quiet voice. Good, now move out. Our destination is Squad 11 training grounds, formerly Squad 7's, Naruto said, opening the door and pushing them through. Now walk, and keep your mouth shut unless it's important. After he closed the door, Tsunade was quite stunned at what had taken place just a moment ago. Was that really the same cocky knucklehead that used to whine about getting better missions? She said out loud to herself. I think I need to see his unique training methods in action. She leapt out the window and made her way to the training grounds to watch her grandson and his squad in action. She soon arrived and was pleased to see we're just walking into the area. Okay, you three, have a seat, he said, standing in front of them. Now, first off, tell me your names, likes, dislikes, and goals. You go first, Pigtails. He pointed to Moegi, who nodded and started. My name is Moegi. I like my friend Zidane and Konoha Maru, my big brother Naruto, training, missions, and picking flowers. I'm not too fond of some of the D-ranked missions, and Konoha Maru's perverted jutsu, she said before taking a breath. As for my goal, I want to be Naruto, and then Konoha Maru's assistant when they become Hokage, and for now I want to be a respectable kunoichi. Alright, very good, Naruto said, giving a small smile. You next, Scarfs. Konoha Maru pointed to himself to make sure he next, and after Naruto nodded he said, My name is Konoha Maru Sarutobi. I like my big brother Naruto, my friends Udan and Moigi, training, playing pranks and ramen. I don't like stupid D-rank missions, and certain pale-eyed stuck-up brats. My goal is to become the 7th Hokage. Idiot, you mean 6th Hokage, Hanabi said, snickering in a mean tone. Can't you even count right? Naruto is going to be the 6th Hokage, ugly-ass brat, he yelled back. Or is the stick up your ass poking your brain? Both of you, 20 laps around the training field after we're done here. Naruto yelled down at them. Any more arguing will mean additional laps added to the 50 you three are already going to do. Firecracker, you're up, go. He was pointing at Hanabi when he spoke, who angrily mumbled about stupid nicknames and unfair senseis, before taking her turn. My name is Hanabi Hyuga, not Firecracker. I like bananas, milk, training with father, and I hate the bickering within my clan and ignorant morons who wear scarves, she said, with narrowed eyes. As for my goals, I don't really have one, since I'm already expected to be either the next clan leader or else second in command to my sister, Hinata, if she continues to shape up to the elder's level of acceptability and becomes clan head. Once again Konohamaru and her began arguing, and Naruto simply added more laps for them, until Hanabi was about to use taijutsu on him and Naruto had had enough. That does it, Hanabi, I'm getting sick and tired of you starting shit, he said, grabbing a hold of her from behind. Konohamaru, get running your laps now. 100 laps. Moigi, get to your 50 laps, move. He sat down on the ground roughly, bringing Hanabi down with him, between his legs. He wrapped his arms around her tightly, and held her wrists so she couldn't move much. She struggled against him, of course, and tried to break out of his grasp. Ouch, my butt! Hit the ground hard, you idiot, what are you doing to me? Let go this instant! She yelled, wiggling against him. You have no right to do this, you moron! I'll let you go when you calm down, Firecracker, he said, holding tightly. I can't have you picking fights with Konohamaru and causing problems. You're not physically strong enough to get out of my hold either, so calm down if you want me let go. I'm not calming down at all, you asshole! She yelled, squirming as hard as she could muster. I'm going to kick your stupid ass when I get free. Sure, go for it, Firecracker, he replied calmly. You'll only wear yourself out faster. Sure enough, just as he said, a short time later she was struggling less and less as she became tired out. She gave a few more barely their movements to break free, but then just gave up and collapsed against him. He let go of her wrists and stood up, making sure to catch her so she wouldn't hit the ground. He carefully picked up the tired-out girl and leaned her against a nearby tree, putting his folded-up jacket behind her head. He then reached into his hip pouch and pulled out a small canteen of water and a bag of trail mix. He handed them both to the weakened girl before talking again. I want you to drink the water, eat the trail mix, and rest till your strength is back, Naruto said, crouching down face level to her. After you're rested, you'll be in your laps. If you don't finish them today, then you'll continue them tomorrow. Do you understand? She was too tired to argue, so she nodded, took the food and water he handed her, and started eating right away. Don't drink too fast though, it's not good for you, he said, looking down at the girl. I'm going to go join those two in doing laps. When you feel rested enough, join us. And don't pretend to be exhausted the entire time, 'cause I will be checking on you. She nodded briefly and continued to eat and drink to regain her energy. After resting, she felt much better, so she decided to stand up and stretch before doing the laps she was told to do. She waited for her teammates and sensei to near her, and before she joined them in sprinting alongside them. Glad to see you're joining us, Hanabi, Naruto said, grinning despite the sweat running down his face. Do your best to keep up. Come on, Konohamaru, Moigi, get your butts in gear, you're almost done, then you can take a short break before I decide on whether you're doing anything more today or not. The four of them did lap after lap, with Moigi finishing up first, and proceeded to collapse by a tree, where they ate and drank the snacks Naruto had brought along for them. Naruto, Hanabi, and Konohamaru on the other hand continued to run since they had more to do than the Moigi. Eventually Konohamaru finished as well and joined Moigi by the tree, laying on his back, panting, while Naruto and Hanabi continues running laps around the training field. Naruto looked over, time from time to make sure she was doing okay, since she was quite exhausted before. It wasn't long before he noticed her slowing down and getting tired again. The energy she had regained from the snack he had given her was wearing off, in addition to not being used to running so much. She stumbled and almost fell on her face, if not for Naruto grabbing her by her waist at the last minute, preventing her from eating ground. Hanabi, I think we should call it a day, and I'll even forget about the other laps since you did so well without complaining, Naruto said, standing her up. Hanabi? You're asleep? Ha! Sleeping on your feet, I wish I had a camera. He easily picked up the light girl and hoisted her over his shoulder, before walking over to Moegi and Konohamaru. Okay, you two, I was going to have us do some chakra control exercises, but since Firecracker here latterly fell asleep on her feet, and it is getting late, I think we'll call it a day, Naruto said, getting a better grip on the sleeping Hanabi. Come on, let's get you two home, okay? Naruto, Konohamaru and Moegi then walked off together so he could drop them off and carry Hanabi to her clan's house. Tsunade watched them walk off and couldn't help but smile along with Shizen, who had joined her a short time ago. I think Naruto is going to make a great sensei, Shizen said, smiling at Tsunade. A little unorthodox, especially his way of calming Hanabi Hyuga down, but very effective nonetheless. I agree completely, Shizen Tsunade said, as she started walking back towards the Hokage Tower. I think his temporary status is now a permanent one. I can't wait to see what that kid does next. Speaking of the kid, Naruto had dropped off Moegi and Konohamaru at their homes and walked along the streets till he got to the Hyuga clan estate. He walked up to the front gates and was met by a female Hyuga guard. Halt, who goes Uzumaki-sama, my apologies, to what do we own this nightly visit? She asked, bowing. And is that Lady Hanabi? You don't have to call me Sama, and yeah it is, I'm her sensei now and I brought her home, he said, slightly irritated with the whole Sama suffix thing. She fell asleep during our squad's training, so I carried her home. Can I bring her in? I need to fetch you an escort first to show you in and out, it's the rules, she said, looking at him. Niji Hyuga has mentioned you being his friend, I could get him to do this task, is that expectable, Lord Uzumaki? Just call me Naruto please, he said, shaking his head. And yeah, could you have Niji do the escort thing? Of course, Naruto. Just a moment please, she said, before speaking into her headset. Yes, Niji is requested at the front gates, it is for escort duties, yes, thank you. He will be out momentarily. Cool, thanks. What's your name? He asked, shifting Hanabi for a better grip on her. Man, she's light, don't she eat anything? My name is Asuka Hyuga, it is nice to meet you, she said, somewhat nervously. By the way, Naruto, you should carry Lady Hanabi in a different position than that. If any of the main branch were to see her being held by such a manner, they may get mad. Okay, Naruto said, as he pulled her off of his shoulder and held her in a bridal style. How's this? I suppose that is more acceptable. Oh, Niji-san, you're here, she said, looking over her shoulder. Naruto, is he to bring back Lady Hanabi from training? It is good to see, Naruto, but what is this I hear of training? He asked, raising an eyebrow ever so slightly. I was not aware she training this late in the day, nor that you were with her. Well, I was just assigned as her sensei for the newly formed Squad 11, which is replacing Squad 7, Naruto said, squirming a bit as Hanabi snuggled into him, and continued sleeping. Okay, anyways, I've taken on her, Konohamaru, and Moegi. She fell asleep during our training of her running laps around Squad 7 training grounds. Squad 7 is no more? And you've been assigned to be her sensei? This is all a lot to take in, Niji said, crossing his arms. Does this have something to do with Sakura being a pain recently? Yeah, I mean Squad 7 can reform if there's a shortage of highly trained ninja needed for something. But yeah, she was driving me and Temari nuts. This way, it will stop her from interrupting us so much. Naruto replied to him. I also wanted to have my own squad and Grandma Tsunade agreed, then I noticed Hanabi didn't have a squad and I needed a third member, so I picked her. Interesting. I'm surprised Lord Hayashi agreed to let Lady Hanabi join a ninja squad, Niji said, holding his chin. Nonetheless, we should bring her inside. Follow me, Naruto. Sure, but I didn't ask Hayashi, nor did Grandma Tsunade. I decided I wanted her, simple as that, he said, walking forward. Oh, and I'll see you around, Asuka. I hope we can be friends. Asuka blushed and nodded in response to him but remained silent. Wait, you didn't get permission? Niji asked, as he came to a stop. If not, then I doubt he will allow this, especially since you started training her before you asked him, though I do suppose you doing this is simply the unique Naruto Uzumaki way you follow, isn't it? Something like that, Naruto said, grinning. Well, aren't you going to lead me to her room? I mean, she really light and all, but I do want to get home at some point. Oh yes, of course, this way, my friend, Niji said, as he resumed walking inside and down the hall. It's not far to her room anyways. So, you a sensei, how's life treating you as a sensei so far? Niji asked, grinning. It is everything you thought it would be? Ha ha ha, you're a riot, Niji. I've been at for one day today, so I can't really say how it's been, Naruto said, thinking carefully. But I don't know one thing though, this little firecracker is one enormous pain in the ass. I really felt like punting her across the training field today, and she's lucky I didn't. Niji could help but laugh lightly at this prospect. I must say, that puts an interesting image in my mind, though I'm sure Lord Hayashi might not appreciate such a thing, nor would Hanabi. Well, if she would behave, then I wouldn't have had to even thought about it, Naruto replied, looking over at Niji. It really looks like most of the Hyugas beside Hinata, and now you, and that girl outside Asuka, all have icicles stuck up their asses. Niji smirked and said only you would be so blunt about these things, Naruto. In any case, we've arrived at Lady Hanabi's room. Oh, alright, could Slid open the door for me? Naruto asked, walking up to the door. I need to put her in her bed and get a move on, before Temari starts looking for me. Niji smirked again, and Slid opened the door for Naruto, who walked in, carrying Hanabi over to her bed. Naruto carefully pulled back the covers and laid the girl down before covering her up. He undid her headband and put it next to her before standing upright, and walking over to Niji, who was standing by the doorway. Well, I'm off to relax for a while, get some dinner, and spend some time with Temari, Naruto said, smiling. Do me a favor and tell Firecracker there to meet me at Squad 11 training fields tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. sharp. If she doesn't show up, tell her I'm coming to get her myself. I'm still not sure what Lord Hayashi will think of all this, but I'll be sure to give Firecracker here the message, Niji said, smirking. See you tomorrow, Naruto. Naruto gave a wave before running off to get home, stopping only to wish his new friend Asuka a good night, before continuing on his way. He made his way home and arrived to find Temari sitting on the couch, drinking tea. Naruto? I haven't seen you all day, where were you? She asked, putting down her tea. You look tired out, what were you doing exactly? Oh, I got my own squad to lead today, he replied, smiling at her. Squad 11? With me, Konohamaru, and Hanabi Hyuga. She was a pain in the ass, and I'm kind of tired from dealing with her. Hyuga? From the Hyuga clan? I always thought they were reserved and well-behaved, Temari said, in a curious tone. But congratulations all the same, on the assignment. I hope you have loads of fun being a sensei. You're being sarcastic, aren't you? Naruto asked, smirking. Well, you're the funniest girl I've ever met, to be sure. Anyways, I just want to eat dinner, relax, and spend some time with most beautiful girl in the village as soon as I find her. You're an ass, you know that? Temari said, grinning. Good thing I like you, or would just kick your little ass. If you can, bring it on, Blondie, he said, back grinning widely. You're asking for it now, Naruto-kun, she said, smiling. But I know the easy way to defeat you. Wanna see me do it? Bring it, he said, crossing his arms. She smiled before slowly walking over to him, making sure to sway her hips. She made her way to him and put her mouth by his ear before blowing some hot breath into it. I really want you, my Naruto-kun, she said in a raspy voice, causing to Naruto collapse to the floor with a dark red face and a little blood richly out of his nose. She grinned at him on the floor and walked away laughing. Way too easy, my Naruto-kun, she said, walking into the kitchen. I guess I'll make him some ramen for when he recovers. Naruto recovered a few minutes later and went to find Temari, but the smell of ramen drew him to the kitchen instead. He walked in to find Temari sitting there, eating ramen, while several bowls of steaming hot ramen was at the place on the table he usually sat at. You, Temari, are a goddess and I love you, Naruto said, quickly kissing her and diving right into the ramen. Temari sat wide-eyed for a second before laughing and shaking her head. If I had known getting you ramen would make you say you loved me, I guess I should have brought some before now, huh? Temari said, laughing. Then again, I'm not sure if I should be happy you said you love me or disappointed it only was because I made you ramen that you said it. He stopped eating and looked at her before saying, Temari, I do love really, and it wouldn't take ramen to make me say it. You don't really think that, do you? Relax, I know that. I was just trying to mess with you, she replied, smiling. Anyways, good night. I need to get some sleep, I've got things to do tomorrow. Ino invited me for a girl's day out. I'm not a girly girl, but it might be nice to talk to another female who isn't a psycho stalker of my fiancé. She walked to the doorway, but before she left the room completely she said, by the way, Tsunade sent a note saying she wanted to see us tomorrow afternoon. And I love you too, Naruto-kun, good night. Naruto ate the rest of his ramen and went to sleep with a big smile on his face. A beautiful girl didn't just like him, she loved him, and that was something he would cherish forever. Meanwhile, back in the Rain Village, Sasuke was eating dango while waiting for Madara to find clues on the elusive swordsman rumored to buy the village. He had already gathered supplies and was quite annoyed with waiting for the man to return. Hope you didn't wait too long, Genji, a voice said, to which Sasuke ignored, and continued eating his dango. I expect you to answer me next time, son, Madara said, sitting next to Sasuke. Or did you forget, Genji? Sasuke looked up and saw Madara sitting there with his arms folded. Oh sorry, I forgot about the name, Dad, he said, eating the last of the dango. Did you find a lead or not? I did in fact. A old contact of mine confirmed that one of the new demon swordsmen are living here. Though it's actually near the village, not inside, Madara said, standing up. Come, we have our supplies, don't we? We need to get some rooms for the night, as it is late, and I am tired. Well, go find the swordsman tomorrow morning. Sasuke growled at him but followed anyway. He hated to admit it, and he wouldn't out loud, but Madara did have a point. So they got a couple of rooms at a hotel and went to their separate ways. Madara fell asleep almost immediately, though Sasuke laid awake for some time, thinking about the joy he would get at killing Naruto and burning the Leaf Village to the ground. I will slaughter you, Naruto, Sasuke said before dozing off himself. Back in the Leaf Village, Naruto sneezed in his sleep, causing him to roll over and mumble about giant pepper shakers attacking his ramen castle. It was the next day and Naruto, Moegi and Konohamaru were getting impatient, as they sat on the ground next to a tree at the Squad 7 training fields, waiting for Hanabi to show up. That's it, I had Niji tell her to be here at 6:30 and I know he told her, Naruto said, standing up. I'm going to drag her little ass here. But what about us, Naruto-sensei? Moegi asked, looking up at him. Should we train or wait? Naruto thought for a second before answering her. Probably best to give them something to do. Yeah, they can train. Yeah, you two can do laps till I return with Hanabi, he finally said, looking at both of them. I'll try to get back quickly. If for some reason I'm not back in like 20 minutes, then do some light sparring. No weapons, jutsus, just hand to hand, okay? They both gave Naruto a nod and went right to running laps, while Naruto himself ran off towards the Hyuga estate. After jumping through the trees and then rooftops for a few minutes, he arrived at the front gates of the Hyuga clan house. He walked through the gates and saw the Hyuga guard from the day before on duty. Hey there, Asuka, how's it going? He said, grinning as he walked up to her. Naruto-sama, I mean Naruto, hello, what brings you back to the Hyuga estate? She asked, walking over to him. I'm here to drag Hanabi over to the Squad 11 training grounds, he said, still grinning. It seems she doesn't know about following orders too well from her sensei. I see, actually before I went on guard duty, I heard Niji-san trying to get Lady Hanabi to get ready and meet up with her squad, Asuka said, with sigh. Needless to say, she ignored him for the most part. Only Lord Hiashi can get her to do something without delay, I'm afraid. She's quite the little pain in the ass, huh? Naruto said, shaking his head. Oh, well, can I go on in and try to get her? I would never say such a thing about Lady Hanabi, Asuka said, in a light tone. Oh, and you will need an escort again, if you wish to go back into the house. Oh, okay, could you grab Niji again then? Naruto asked, putting his hands into his jacket pockets. Of course, just a moment, she said, walking over to the doors. Excuse me, could you retrieve Niji-san? Someone is here for— Oh, Niji-san, Naruto is here. Hello, Naruto, Niji said, nodding his head, as he walked into view. I take it you're here for Lady Hanabi. Congratulations, you win the prize, Naruto said, folding his arms. Can you take to the little ankle biter? Niji grinned but only said to follow him inside and he would take Naruto to Hanabi's room. They walked in silence through several short hallways until they came to a stop outside Hanabi's door. Naruto walked up to Hanabi's door and immediately started knocking on the door. Hanabi, it's your sensei, Naruto, he yelled out, still knocking. Get your little ass in gear, you kept the rest of your squad waiting long enough as it is. Huh? Naruto? Well, it's too bad cause I don't have to listen to you, you commoner, Hanabi yelled from the other side of the door. You're just wasting your time being here, so go crawl back into the hole you came out of. That's it, Naruto said, sliding the door open hard and walking in, leaving a somewhat nervous Niji outside. Ah! What are you doing? Get out of my room! Hanabi yelled, keeping her blanket wrapped up around herself. I gave you no permission to enter. Tough, you need to get dressed now, firecracker, Naruto said, wailing over to her bed. I'm your sensei and I said be at the training grounds at 6:30, it's now almost 7 o'clock, so get dressed, now. What is that yelling from down there? A male voice asked from down the hallway. Lord Hiashi? Niji said, startled. My apologies, Uncle, Hanabi's sensei is here trying to get her to get ready and join her squad, but she is refusing to. Hanabi! Hiashi yelled out, still standing at the end of the hall. I may not have approved of you being on a squad, but I have more important things to deal with, so for now you will obey your sensei and get yourself moving to join your squad. Do I make myself clear, young lady? Why, yes, father, I understand, Hanabi said, wide-eyed, still sitting on her bed. Good, do not make a repeat habit of questioning orders from your superiors. Hi, she said, before walking around the corner and out of sight. Okay, then get ready. I said I would back quickly, Naruto said, tapping his foot impatiently. Fine, but you need to leave my room first, Hanabi stated, holding the blankets tightly. Oh no, you don't. The minute I leave, you'll just try to go back to sleep, Naruto said, raising an eyebrow. Let's go. Are you insane? I cannot take down these blankets and get ready until you leave, she said angrily. And why not? He asked, confused. Am I missing something? You really are an idiot. I'm only wearing I'm only in my underclothing right now, she said in an angry tone, while blushing. As if you have anything anyone wants to see at your age, he mumbled under his breath before walking to the door. Just make sure you hurry it up, I know girls take forever to get dressed and all. Fine, and I heard that rude comment, you know, she yelled as he closed the door right before the pillow she chucked hit the door. By the way, he yelled through the door, if you're not ready in 10 minutes, then I'm dragging you by your ankles all the way to the Squad 11 training grounds, no matter how much or how little clothing you have on, so unless you want rug burn on your ass, I suggest you get moving. Pervert! Hanabi yelled before she began getting dressed. About 10 minutes later, and scowling, Hanabi opened her door and walked out, dressed in her ninja apparel. About time I really was going to have to drag you there, Naruto said, grinning. Come on, let's move. He ushered forward, and they walked out the door, passing by the guard Asuka. Have a good day, Lady Hanabi, Naruto, she said, smiling at Naruto. Thanks, you too, Asuka, Naruto replied, waving to her. They walked out of the gates, and Naruto crouched down, holding his hands behind him. Someone hop on. You took like 10 minutes to get ready, and it took me about 5 minutes to get to your house, so we're going to do piggyback so I can get us there faster, he said, looking over his shoulder at her. Well? But that is such a thing is embarrassing, Hanabi said, blushing. Everyone will think I am a kid. That's because you are a kid. Besides, just ignore them. They're idiots if they stop to comment on things as common as piggyback riding, Naruto replied back to her. Now come on, and make sure you hold on tight. I'll be moving fast and I don't want you falling off and getting hurt. But how fast will you be? She screamed as he bounced from rooftop to rooftop at blazing speeds, before jumping into the forest and heading towards the training fields. They finally arrived exactly 4 minutes later and landed in a crouch in front of Moegi and Konohamaru, startling them both. See, that didn't take long at all, right, Firecracker? Naruto said, grinning as he stood up. Hanabi, you okay back there? She doesn't look so good, boss, Konohamaru said, with a sweat drop. Huh? Naruto said, looking over his shoulder. What do you mean? Indeed, Hanabi did not look well at all. Her eyes were bugging out of her head, her teeth were gritted tightly together, her hair was sticking out in every direction, and she was holding on to Naruto still like she was a vice grip. Hey, are you okay, Hanabi? Naruto asked, concerned as he crouched down to let her off. I don't think I'll be doing that ever again. Do you remember how to speak, Hanabi? Never again ever, Naruto, she said, narrowing her eyes. Is there ground beneath me yet? Yeah, you're fine, Hanabi, Naruto said, letting the girl off his back. Okay then, today we're going to work on a few things. First off, do any of you three know your elemental chakra affinities? Naruto asked, looking at the three. As he waited for any response, I take this silence as a no. Good thing I remembered, or rather Tamari-chan reminded me, to bring this with me, some chakra paper. Does anyone here know how it works? He asked, handing each of them a piece. That's easy. Chakra paper is harvested from specially grown trees, and when chakra is applied, it reacts in one of several different ways, depending on which chakra type you are better suited for. Hanabi said, crossing her arms and smirking. It's common knowledge to all ninja. Very good, Firecracker, Naruto said, patting the girl's head, gently. However, you shouldn't just assume that all ninja know this. I didn't know what it was, since my sensei never taught it to my genin team. So one at a time, I want you three to apply chakra to your piece of chakra paper so we can find out your elemental affinities, Naruto said, putting his hands in his jonin vest pockets. First Moegi, then Konohamaru, and finally Hanabi, go. Konohamaru applied chakra to his piece and it ignited and turned to ash. Then Moegi did the same and her piece became soggy, and finally Hanabi applied chakra to hers and it tore in half. I gotta say, even though I pretty much already figured out that Konohamaru would get fire style and Moegi would get water, I really didn't think Hanabi's chakra nature would be wind, Naruto said, looking at the girl in question. That being said, you're pretty lucky in a few ways, my little firecracker. I am? She asked, confused. Why? Because 1. It's called the battle nature due to it being great and deadly for both defense and offense. 2. It's very rare in the fire country. And 3. It's also one of my chakra affinities. So me and Temari can teach you a few things, Naruto replied to the girl. So let's get to work, shall we? Now Konohamaru, even though it's my second affinity, I only know a few fire jutsus, and I can't teach you one of them, since it's too dangerous and without special toad oil, you can't do it anyway, Naruto said, putting his hand on Konohamaru's shoulder. But I can teach you the less dangerous ones. Really? Awesome. Let's go, I'll learn it real quick, believe it! Konohamaru yelled, jumping up and down. Calm down, Scarf Boy, Naruto said, smacking the boy in the back of his head. You're almost as bad as I was when I was your age. I'm going to send a clone with you to teach you some easy fire techniques I know. Moegi, unfortunately I don't know any water jutsus, but I can send you and a clone to the library to look up some starter water techniques that you can practice, he said, to her, smiling. I'll also be sending clone to find Kakashi-sensei to bug him till he agrees to teach you some water jutsu tricks. Well, what about me? Hanabi asked, putting her hands on her hips. Are you going to teach me some wind jutsus? Nope, he said simply, grinning at her. What do you mean, no? She said, raising her voice. Am I not good enough to teach? It is because of this morning? Not at all, but I need to teach you how to wield wind chakra, before you can use it, Naruto replied to her. I'll showing you an exercise on this, while my clone teaches Konohamaru about fire chakra. Kakashi-sensei will hopefully teach Moegi about water. I could be persuaded to, Naruto said, Kakashi jumping down from a tree. Kakashi-sensei! Naruto exclaimed loudly. What are you doing here? Oh, I was just in the neighborhood, and felt your massive chakra signature nearby, Kakashi said, putting his make-out tactics away in his pouch. I thought I'd stop by and see how life as a sensei was treating you. Well, good to see ya, sensei. And it's going pretty good, for the most part, just a few small snags, Naruto said, glancing at Hanabi. So will you help out Moegi? Okay, Kakashi said, giving his famous eye smile. If you do me a favor in return. What kind of favor? Naruto asked cautiously. Is it anything hard? Not at all, though to be honest I'm not sure about what I want you to do, Kakashi said, standing in a thinking pose. How about, we just say you owe me one? Owe you one what? Naruto asked Kakashi, confused somewhat. What I mean is, you'll owe a favor of some sorts, at some time in the future. Deal? Kakashi replied, looking down at Moegi, after Naruto nodded a yes. So, are you ready to learn about water jutsus, Moegi? Sure, can I go sensei? Moegi asked, eagerly. Sure, go for it, Moegi-chan, Naruto said, nodding. Do your best, okay? I'll do great, believe it, sensei, Moegi said, smiling before running off, with Kakashi slowly following behind her. Naruto smiled back, before turning to look at Hanabi. Okay. Grab 2 leaves for me off of a tree for me, if you would, he asked, folding his arms. Any 2 leaves will do. Hanabi mumbled before plucking 2 leaves off of a nearby tree and walking back over to him. He took one and let her hold on to the other, which had her staring at it, curiously. Okay, now what, smart guy? Hanabi asked, folding her arms, impatiently. What am I supposed to do with this leaf? Keep your shirt on, sheesh. Hold it in your hand, and watch me, he said, shaking his head. Pay attention to what I do, and you may want to activate your Byakugan while you watch. She quickly activated her Byakugan and watched as chakra flowed up Naruto's arm and into his hand before it split the leaf in 2. Naruto then looked over at her and grinned wildly. Pretty cool, huh, firecracker? Naruto asked, looking at her. All you did was split a leaf in 2, moron, she said, sneering at him. True, but I did it using my wind chakra, he said proudly. If you can learn to cut a lead in half, then you're one step closer to using your own wind chakra, my little firecracker. Huh? How do you do that? Hanabi asked, looking at her leaf. What's the difference between using wind and regular chakra? Why can only wind chakra cut through a leaf? Well, try to channel chakra into the leaf and see what happens, he said, grinning. Go on, try if you want. I bet since I'm a Hyuga with superior chakra control, I can do it, she said, grinning back. Just step back and witness the superior power of the Hyuga clan. Hanabi tried pumping her chakra into it the same way she did for the chakra paper a few minutes prior. But after a few minutes, she was grinding her teeth in frustration over nothing happening, and gave up. It is impossible, you must have cheated somehow, she said, crossing her arms angrily. So much for the superior power of the Hyuga clan, huh, firecracker? Naruto asked, smirking slightly. You have to keep trying to focus and sharpen your chakra in order to cut through the leaf. But I just tried and I failed. I am a Hyuga and I must obtain perfection in all I do, just like I was forced to learn from Father, Hanabi said, growling in a frustrated manner. If I cannot do it, then what is the point? Shouldn't I focus on another way of learning to use wind chakra? There's no need to get too frustrated, Hanabi Naruto said, crouching down and putting his hands on her shoulders. I was also really frustrated when I was first taught this, but if I had given up so easily, then I never would have learned to use my wind chakra or save Kakashi-sensei, Ino, Choji and Captain Yamato from that really tough Akatsuki guy I fought and beat. Just believe in yourself, you can do it, he said, standing up. I believe in you, and I know you can do it if you try. So get to it, and don't worry, I'll be here to help you along the way. Huh? Hanabi stated, looking at him strangely. He wants to help me? Why? Father always said if you're too weak to do it on your own, then you should just give up altogether, but Naruto, I suppose if I don't try, you'll never let me hear the end of huh? Fine, I'll keep trying, Sensei, Hanabi said, blushing a bit. What was that? Did you call me Sensei? Naruto asked, surprised. Jay, just let me try the leaf thing in peace and quiet, moron, she replied, turning her head away from him. Okay, I'll be practicing a few wind techniques that Temari's teaching me while you do, he said, chuckling as he walked a few feet away. If you need help, just give a shout, okay, firecracker? Yeah, alright, she absently said, as she tried to concentrate on cutting into the leaf with her chakra. Hanabi tried to concentrate on her task at hand, but became more and more frustrated at making so little progress after an hour. She not even put a single cut into the leaf and was angry and ashamed at such abysmal progress. Damn it! She yelled out in anger, stomping off to the edge of the pond in the training area, where she flopped down to the ground and folded her arms. I'm a Hyuga, I am supposed to be perfect, and yet I cannot get such a simple thing right. Why? Because you're trying for perfection and only stressing yourself out over it, Naruto said, walking up and flopping onto the ground next to her. I can get just as frustrated as anyone when I'm trying to learn something new, but messing up, but getting stressed over it is pointless and unhealthy. Why are you getting stressed over learning to use wind chakra anyway? He asked, looking at the water. When I was little and got stressed or angry or whatever, I used to talk to the old man Hokage, and it usually made me feel better. Maybe if you talk to me, you'll feel better. It's nothing, I'm just not making any progress on using wind chakra, Hanabi replied, looking forward. Perhaps, I should just give up on it. I will only end up embarrassing both myself and you. That's bullshit. So what, you haven't made any progress after an hour? Big deal. You just need to practice a bit more, that's all, Naruto said, looking over at Hanabi. And I really don't see how you're an embarrassment to anyone. I'm not ashamed of you. I mean, I made about the same amount of progress my first time learning the leaf exercise. Just try again, and go for a small cut instead of cutting the entire leaf in half. I believe in you, so don't worry so much it'll give you wrinkles. Or at least that's what I've heard anyway. Are you sure? Hanabi asked, looking up at Naruto as he stood up. What if I don't do any better? Then I'll find a way to help you, till you can do it, he replied, walking away. I'm your sensei and friend, and it's my job to make you, Konohamaru, and Moegi into great ninjas, so I'll do whatever it takes to help you three. Just take a few deep breaths, relax, and then go try again. And if you need help, make sure you come ask this time, instead of getting angry and stomping off, okay? Yes, Naruto-sensei, she said back, watching him walk away. And thank you, Naruto. He gave her a grin before turning around and going back across the field. Hanabi took a few deep breaths and walked over to A, grabbing a leaf off of it. Okay, relax and take your time, try for a small cut of any size, Hanabi said out loud to her herself. I can do this, I will not fail this time. Once again, Hanabi set to work, trying to cut into the leaf, only this time taking her time, and going slowly. After several hours, she was still going at it, when Naruto walked up to her. Hey, you made a few cuts, Naruto said out loud, making her jump. Sensei. Yes, I did make a few cuts, but only in few small ones, Hanabi said, looking at the leaf. I didn't do very well, after several more hours, did I? Are you kidding me? You did great, Hanabi-chan, Naruto said, grinning. I'm really proud of you. Make sure to keep up the good work, alright. You're proud of me? Hanabi asked, in disbelief. I know you said you wouldn't be upset if I didn't do well, but you're happy that I made this small amount of progress? Sure, why wouldn't I be? He asked, as he ruffled her hair playfully. Why don't you take a break? I'm going to go check on Konohamaru and Moegi. I'll be back in a minute, okay? Hanabi couldn't help but smile, and blush as Naruto ran off to her teammates. Father never praises me for doing anything right, but sensei, maybe Naruto's not so bad after all. I will make you even more proud, Naruto, I promise. A few minutes later, Naruto returned with Konohamaru, Moegi and Kakashi following behind him. So how did you two do? Hanabi asked, looking at her teammates. I made some water flow a little bit, but I couldn't do it very long, Moegi replied, squiffing her ninja sandal. But I'm sure I'll do better, if I keep practicing. That's right, you will. Well done, Moegi-chan, Naruto said, patting the grill on the head. Keep up the good work. I can already do the burning ash jutsu more or less, but I did just okay with a basic fire jutsu, Konohamaru said, rubbing the back of his head, sheepishly, like Naruto would. Yeah, and I wish you would have told me beforehand that you already knew a fire jutsu, Naruto said back to him. Even if you didn't know your element, if you had told me you learned a fire technique already, I would have been able to help you better. Next time, let me know sooner, okay, Konohamaru? Sorry boss, I mean sensei, Konohamaru replied, to him. So what's next? Well, I assume all of you know how to walk on trees using chakra, right? Naruto asked, looking around. Yup. Sure thing. Yes, I was taught that some time ago. Good, how about water walking? He then asked, not getting a response this time. Okay, we'll learn water walking. Over to the water, you three. You have fun, Naruto. I might swing by tomorrow to help Moegi again, if you want, Kakashi said, looking over at Naruto. Okay, thanks sensei, see ya tomorrow, Naruto answered, waving to him. Let's move, you three. Once at the water, Naruto turned around and looked at his three students. Now some would say that if you can learn to walk on trees using chakra, then water walking is a cakewalk, he said, walking back and forth in front of them, but that's bullshit. Water walking is harder, and different than tree walking. Way harder. When you tree walk, you use your chakra at constant to walk on water, you need to constantly adjust it on the go, he said, coming to a stop. I want you three to come get into the water, and stand there in it with me. Let's go. Naruto rolled up his pant legs and walked over into the water, standing there. Come on, you three, let's move. And if you don't want to get your shoes wet, take them off. The three of his students took off their ninja sandals and walked into the water, to join him. Good, now we'll walk into the part that's like a 4 deep or so, he said, walking through the water. Let's move, brats. Konohamaru and Moegi followed him and stood next to him. Hanabi just stood there, not following. Naruto looked over at her, sighed, knowing that another fight might start. There is no way I'm getting my pants wet in the water, she said, crossing her arms. Just because Konohamaru doesn't mind getting his pants wet, and Moegi is wearing a skirt, doesn't mean I am. If you don't want to get your pants wet, then you got one of two choices, Naruto said, putting a hand on his waist. Either roll up your pant legs like I did, or take your pants off. Either way, get your ass over here, Hanabi. She immediately rolled up her pant legs, not wanting to do the alternative, and walked over to the others. I'm here, can we get started already, she said, folding her arms. What do we do first? Well, focus your chakra onto the soles of your feet and try to practice shifting the amounts, Naruto said, as he applied chakra to his feet and walked across the water. You'll need to concentrate on varying the amount of chakra at first. But after you get the hang of it, you'll begin doing it automatically. We'll quick standing there, try it out, he said to them, grinning. Just do your best and I'll be proud of you, whatever, if any progress you make. Keep in mind, Moegi, Hanabi, you two have better chakra control, but smaller reserves, he said, looking over at them. If you two feel tired out, tell me and take a break, got it? They all began trying to stand on water, while Naruto did handstands on the water and walked across it. After only a little while, Moegi and Hanabi became tired, especially Hanabi, who had already used a bit of chakra on her leaf exercise. They both let their feet sink through the foot of water to the bottom and walked into the shallow part of the pond. Good job, you two, take a break and let your chakra refill, Naruto yelled, doing a backflip on the water. Hey, Konohamaru, take a break, alright? And come over here. Alright, you three, we're going to go get some ramen to eat and do a mission afterwards, he said, grinning. Last one to Ichiraku's is a weirdo. Naruto ran off laughing, with Konohamaru giving chase. Moegi grinned and looked at Hanabi. Come on, let's go, she said, taking Hanabi's arm and pulling her along. We don't want to be called weirdos, right? After Hanabi and Moegi arrived, finding Naruto and Konohamaru already scarfing down ramen, Hanabi smiled a bit at her teammates and sensei, thinking to herself that maybe being on Squad 11 What a good experience, after all. She sat down to join them, and after lunch the four of them walked off to the Hokage's tower to get their first mission as Squad 11. They ended up with a mission to unload supplies for Tenten's family's weapon shop and took nearly an hour get everything unloaded. Naruto decided they could have the rest of the day off to practice, or whatever else they wanted to do. Konohamaru ran off to do some training, while Moegi decided to spend some time with her mom before doing some training as well. Hanabi said she needed to get home, and once again Naruto walked her home, since it was on the way to his own, and as a Hyuga, she needed an escort. After arriving in front of the Higwa clan estate, Naruto crouched down in front of Hanabi. Look! You did great today, no matter what your father may say to you otherwise. You should be proud of your accomplishments with the wind chakra training and water walking, just like I'm proud of you, Naruto said to her, smiling. By the way, Moegi and Konohamaru already know this, but if you need anything, like someone to talk to, or just to listen to you can come and look me up at my house, anytime, day or night, got it? Hanabi blushed and nodded, unused to someone being so nice, especially after giving him such a hard time. She watched him get the attention of the on-duty guard, telling him Hanabi was back, and then give her a wave goodbye. Thank you, Sensei, she said, smiling, before she walked inside the gates and entered the house. My team may be strange, but I like them. I hope father lets me stay on the team, she though, as she walked to her room to take a bath and rest for a bit before resuming her training. It was the next day and Naruto stumbled out of bed, yawning as he got dressed and walked down the stairs to see Temari sitting and drinking juice. She saw him and greeted him with a kiss on the lips that had him blush deeply. Really? Blushing? This isn't the first time we've kissed, Temari said, grinning. But I'll forgive you since you're cute. Thanks, you're cute too, I mean pretty, Naruto said, smiling. So what's today's plans? Since it's the weekend, I want you to myself, Temari said, grinning. We've been busy these past few days, and I want to spend time with my adorable fiancé. What's a fiancé? Naruto asked, confused about the term. Is that me? So cute and clueless, it means you're my soon-to-be husband, Temari replied, putting her glass in the sink. Now what shall we do today? Naruto put his hand on his chin and thought for a moment before saying him ramen. Temari calmly smacked him in the back of his head as she sat down next to him. Please try to be serious, Naruto, Temari said, laying her head on his shoulder. Should we go on a date, or a picnic or something like that? She asked, closing her eyes. And of course some training afterwards. How about we do the picnic thing? Naruto said, looking at her. That could be fun. Alright, you can make us a picnic lunch, and we'll train afterwards, Temari said, lifting her head off his shoulder. But what should we do till then? I'm not sure about was all Naruto could say before Temari grabbed his head and pulled him forward, locking lips with him. Temari grinned as she pulled away. I think we can have some fun, before our picnic, huh? I think I like your idea of fun, Naruto said, grinning as he kissed her back. I'm still not too good with girls, but I'll try, believe it. Less talking, more kissing, Temari said, pulling him forward. A doorbell suddenly rang out, interrupting them, and Temari pulled away, with an irritated look on her face.